Creo que le vamos a tener que poner un pomelo preventivo a alguien, ¿eh? Pero vamos, creo que en predicciones era como 9 Katie, 6 los brositos, ¿eh? Vienen fuertes. El efecto Gideon, ¿eh? Hay un comando, Grone. Creo que era ese. Ahí deja, ¿no? Básicamente. Así que ya veremos. Por cierto, ayer fui a ver si habían puesto algo. Está el horno puesto ya. Y alguna cosilla más por ahí han llevado. Pues justo acaban de empezar ahora, Kandu. Aquí estamos. A ver qué tal. Joder, la que le va a caer a la Golden, ¿eh? O sea, mira que la gracia de tener Miss Fortune es que normalmente tienes buena línea, ¿no? Lo primero, ¿no? Pero claro, jugando contra Lucian Milio va a ser duro. Necesitas ganchear, ¿eh? Pitsismos caseros, bueno. Yo para eso no tengo mucho tiempo. ¡Pausismo! Bueno, iba bien, ¿no? O sea, no sabemos qué ha pasado. Pausismo de 5 minutos y ya está. Arregled. No, yo eso lírico con los carteles que hacen, bueno. Yo creo que el logo de Dignitas, como lo ha hecho ese pavo en el cartel, ese sí que lo puedo hacer, creo yo, ¿eh? Otra cosa no sé, pero ese Dignitas yo creo que lo podemos hacer. Ojo, Alberto, muchas gracias por ese remo. Muchas gracias. No quería, no pongo nada raro. Que vaya bien en el curro. No vamos a poner nada raro en la pantalla. No te van a despedir, no pasa nada. ¡Ay, Gideon! Gideonito Salas. Buenos días, Tucán, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estamos? Estamos ahí con tren del hype, ¿eh? Mañanero. ¿Está muerto? Ah, tiene fantasmal, ¿eh? No lo pillan. No hace falta ni usar el flash. No os digo que en bot la mamatoria estaba bastante garantizada, ¿eh? En bot la mamatoria estaba guaranteed. Ojo el gancho que es bueno, ¿eh? No sé, lo engancha, ¿no? Está muerto. Mamatoria gorda. Bueno, solucionado bastante el problema de la Golden ya con esto, ¿no? Por lo que sea. Encima le holdean aquí la wave. Tío, qué lujazo, tío, Roam de gratis. Pillas todo el oro de aquí. Y encima tu jungla va a medio y te holdea la wave. Modo, la vida puede ser maravillosa, ¿no? Una pena que se la haya llevado. Creo que ha sido un reverberazo, Ha sido con la reverberation, Vale, yo creo que hay diferencia, pues menos en bot, probablemente en todos los lados, ¿no? Por eso digo que me sorprende que había tanto voto en la predicción de los brositos, Me ha sorprendido mucho.
was a good buy for the Misfortune. I will say though, I appreciate that Teddy is still playing the lane pretty aggressive. I think some players can sort of default into going passive after getting ganked like that, but you need to keep the pressure on in this lane. Just be respectful of the roam threat from BDD, and when Cuz gets his ult available, you can see that Gideon was hovering down the bot side, but it's just reset. But forcing it back from Jiwoo means that Teddy may be able to pick up some damage in the tower heal, though he's already back. This is the thing with Misfortune. The passive, combined with the fact that we have home guard so early, so hard to push out a lane. And Jiwoo is really utilizing that.
Hoy Teddy gana la liga. Ya, Teddy no tiene que hacer servicio militar, ¿o qué?
And as long as they don't kill you, that's a fine play to do again and
A ver.
again, because it's really hard to actually make the Misfortune miss a lot from that.
And you can see is within
A ver el Tedito.
of Teddy as well, as those lanes do equalize.
Edad 28,
That is proof that it's working out here. Wasn't able to purchase anything. I think just got himself one pot when he went back.
I don't know.
No harm, no foul. Casting back towards his top side.
En fin.
Got a tunneler and a sword.
Ahora es cuando empiezas a estar más cómodo con el Kled, ¿no?
Brown bags. And casting hasn't been
Aunque
necessarily
apenas ha castigado, bueno, hasta ahora no ha castigado nada, de hecho, a Perfect.
How do we adjudicate this? Do we feel like
0% Punished.
not doing enough, or do we think this is
Perfectitos
fine
alas.
right now?
I think it's okay. I think Olaf has a lot of struggles in his team composition.
Que nos vaya a tener el hype, somos unos paquetazos. Unos pecho fríos.
Casting has a bit of an XP lead and is pressuring, even though he hasn't generated a large farm lead, he is pressuring Perfect, not allowing him to farm easily. He's having to farm his axes. I think it's perfectly fine.
All right, not going too badly here, as we do have the ultimate ready for Ju now. Level 6 to come down for the Misfortune, just proof that he has been able to get back to lane quickly enough, because he manages to make it to level 6 before anybody else here in this bottom lane. It looks like Teddy and Namgung should be able to get there pretty quickly. See whether they can put on some aggression. Cuz with level 6 himself, actually pretty close to 7 on the Nocturne. Paranoia at the ready, and the bros have to be very careful at how this match is going to go from now on, because the Nocturne can just always be there.
Yeah, it makes it so much harder to just play the lanes out if there's that constant threat. Speaking of playing the lanes out, BDD is not having so much fun now. Roma has access to the ult.
Yeah, Roma
And the
actually
damage
having
is
a
really
good
starting
time.
to
Ahí
hit.
te dice que no, que es eso.
Catalyst at the ready. BDD without his...
Teddy le pasa lo mismo.
Needs to pick up a few more
A ver,
rounds
tal, tal,
before
tal.
he's able to collect that. It's perfect, like you were talking
Ah,
about.
es verdad, es verdad, es verdad. Es como de Sai, creo. Teddy no tiene que hacer por situación médica, ¿no?
Perfect in a bear trap on a rope. Still one of the weirdest ability names.
Problemas médicos crónicos. Sufre de colitis ulcerosa.
Because it could have just been bear trap. Why
Eso
did
es verdad,
stipulate that it's on a rope?
Well, it is on a rope.
Well, I mean, that's true. But there's a lot of things. Like, like piercing light from a gun. We could have also had.
Maybe that would clear things.
No tiene que hacer el servicio militar
Yeah,
Teddy.
a good point.
Is piercing light, you know, it could be a Leona.
La verdad es que algunas veces ha tenido que perderse partidos y demás.
An effort could be
Por eso.
dreadlight from an anchor with a chain. Bit wordy.
Como que
Perfect
Koi
comes
Teddy
down
se
and
pide
helps
desde
out
ya,
as they look to take the grubs. Gideon very upset
Yeah.
with this one. You can see he's lurking in the area, but it looks like the bros are not going to be able to contest it this time around. Might be able to get one. Nope, there is a smite there.
Teddy,
for Cuz, so that is
Ha borrado el Real Triple V el tweet del roster. Para intentar el ascenso.
So far, I think both teams just a little concerned that they don't
Dicen que es porque el cartel era más feo que un frigorífico por detrás. Hostia, el gancho, Es GG's. Joder. La snowboleada ahora mismo debería ser tocha, Ha pasado lo peor para Misfortune. Ahora además en primer ítem es una locura. Perfect ha hecho una línea muy buena con el Olaf. El mid-game va a ser durete, para aguantar lo de los brositos. Pues una cosa os digo. Mi nevera no la han puesto, pero está en el salón. Y tiene como una placa de aluminio justo todo por detrás. Así que puedo decir que las neveras modernas no son feas por detrás. Las neveras modernas no son feas. El viernes no hay LPL.
Yeah, and now everybody else has to be wary of what this Nocturne is going to be able to do. There's a plate that goes down in this mid lane. That is something.
El Lucio Emilio apaga la radio.
It is all KT so far in this
La verdad que va bien contra todo. Creo que es la mejor botlane ahora mismo. Entonces el Misfortune Nautilus ya lo he visto en fase de líneas, mama Gladiolo. Cosas que pasan, pues que al tener full prio, pues también no son vulnerables al gank, ¿no? En Lucian Milio, que es lo que ha pasado. Lo ideal hubiera sido que con el Lucian Milio pudiesen haber diveado en bot con el Jarvan, pero no ha ocurrido. ¿Vale? ¡Ay, ay, 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 ay! Si se llega a salvar. Pero bueno, importantísimo y acelerar al Lucian para los brositos si quieren que haya mapa. Si no es liadón. Si no es liadón.
Considering BDD's impact in the bot lane and just, finding windows to roam down and punish them, I think it's better for BRO that they kind of end the laning phase a bit earlier.
Yeah, this is going to be first turret going over to KT.
No lo que
They
hay.
have 3 grubs, and they have GU down here already. As casting is going to show up, but he should be ushered away. Wants to be able to get as much of this farm as possible. With Gideon coming on over, maybe he can. Paranoia comes in, Effort taking a lot of damage. We need the Skull to get the work done, and he is going to be able to do that. Gets off his mount, and now GU's in a lot of trouble. Casting charging up that bar. He should have the dinosaur back again, as look at this shotgun working. He remounts, and now he's looking for Cuz. Gideon should be able to take care of this MF, and down she will go.
Qué barbaridad,
Even the scoreline and claim the lead.
Se viene brosazo gordo, ¡Cuidado el Clere! ¡Ay! Tenían razón los analistas, chicos, Ojo con los brositos. Qué random sería que no entrara en playoff Katie. Igualmente, yo creo que el que pierda hoy gana la segunda oportunidad, ¿no? Que creo que es la de... que es el viernes, ¿no? Mañana es Nongsim Zorros, ¿no? Creo. Y el que gane contra el que pierda hoy. Tío, le ha metido el Fear a un minion, loco. ¿Lo habéis visto? Guz. Le ha metido el Fear a un minion. What the fuck. No me jodas. Ya lo decía Quentin. Malo con avaricia, chicos. Ya lo dijo Quentin LOL. Father than hungry. Father than hungry.
With just that one play alone, they get themselves the largest gold lead in the game so far. Problem is, BDD is still massive, still has the lead himself, will be a massive threat later on in the game.
La cuisine.
Homer has been just fine, despite the fact that BDD picked up that kill very early on. Does have his rod stacking a little bit earlier. I think the Anivia is just more than happy to start putting ice down in this mid lane and clearing out waves over and over again.
I mean, that's the thing. We know the Anivia value later. Obviously, Rise has a ton of value later, but I think the Anivia can hold them accountable.
Pero joder, le he enseñado a Gatorreno cómo va mi piso. Y creo que no le ha gustado mucho, la verdad. Ojo, Mónica. Pues ya por ese tier 1, 15 meses ya aquí con nosotros, Seguimos. Un día más. Muchas gracias.
Jarvan just does it in general as a champion, but Kled with his charge will allow them just to run anyone down.
Yeah.
And with the fact that casting is now 2-0-2, a massive lead here for this Kled, it's going to be a very different story. We've seen some of them fail. Like you mentioned, it's been 50-50 that this Kled has worked out into the Olaf matchups, but when they get advantages like this, it really does start to look like that counter pick that I think Shiu really had the best demonstration of.
Ahora le enseño si quieres, un canuterio, sí. Lo podemos poner en la pausa, no hay problema. Y total ya se ha visto todo.
And the problem is, it's so hard to gank him as well, because he just gets dismounted and he goes untargetable and then can remount again. The amount of turnarounds that we see Kleds have as well. I mean, there's a lot of trauma that a lot of commentators have from Broken Blade doing it to us in internationals where we just weren't ready for a Kled pick. Thankfully now we're using it here in the LCK, which may help us in our battle against the LEC in the future. But that is down the line. KT and BRO, two teams that I think a lot of us would agree with what they were talking about in the pre-show, with the fact that BRO and KT look like the strongest two teams here.
Ya, o sea, tú te haces unas tabis aquí y te quitan demasiado del daño, ¿no? Mucho autoataquista.
And then we'll see whether Nongshim and BNK Fearex can give KT
Un K de oro arriba. Mi amigo Kuz está desaparecido, tío. Es que Kuz está jugando un mapa terrible. Está siendo quizá factor diferencial, ¿eh? Si toca la lotería, seguiría haciendo stream. Hombre, supongo que sí, digo. ¿Por qué no? Yo es que creo que no podría no hacer nada, ¿sabes? A mí es que me toca la lotería, compro 5 pisos y vivo de las rentas. Me resulta imposible, yo creo. Tendría que hacer algo. Pero bueno, tampoco me podría tocar la lotería. No me he comprado un boleto de lotería en la vida. Un equipito en la Les Soriano, ¿no? Hablo con los del Numancia, chicos.
Maybe that's a Milio and an Ivy interaction that we're just learning about now.
Yeah, I remember like so many times seeing like Vayne and Ivy, well not that often, but Vayne and Ivy bot lane being a really fun combo to play because like them into the wall, but the Nivea...
No juegan en el verde, no. Está jodido, meter, bueno, puedes meter 5 PCs ahí al fondo, ¿no? En el Verdan. Que jueguen ahí. Se amplía a 1500 de oro la ventaja. Katie tiene clara condición de victoria de alma. Ojo, Kuz, malo con avaricia. Enfo reventado, madre de Dios, Chicos, con todo el dolor de mi corazón, hoy mi amigo Kuz ha salido totalmente pomeleado, Totalmente pomeleado. No, claro, he dicho, es que la Miss Fortune de línea tendría que haber salido, de hecho, bastante más para atrás. Por suerte para ellos, se han pillado el gank ese que le ha hecho oxigenar mucho la fight. Y de hecho han podido tirar la torre. Pero ahora las teamfights no va a ser fácil, jugarlas. Ahí está perfectito Salas.
Oh, this is 5 members of KT, but the top lane is declared. This is not an easy dive to pull off.
Well, they're going to go for it anyway. And they do have a lot of people. Let's see whether it's going to work, because Gideon might be the target they're looking for instead. Nope, they're just going to take the turret. And that is going to be a safer option here. There are no minions, though, so it takes a while.
Vas haciendo esto y en bot la Nivea va a estar hasta arriba, Porque han editado 5 personas, todo el equipo para tirar una torre. O bueno, oye, no está mal. Pero el mapa se te va a quedar hecho mierda. No la que necesitan el alma sí o sí, Y no va a estar la cosa muy jodida.
Teddy building towards item number 3. Geo for second item armor penetration is something that we've seen a fair few MFs do. Kind of foregoing any attack speed, making sure their bullet time is doing as much damage as possible in these team fights.
Yeah, it's tricky with MF because crit scales really well with your ultimate, so that's high value, but then you don't really want the attack speed items on MF. You know, you have a lot of built-in attack speed, and you're just not the best auto attacker in general, because obviously you have that first auto chunks out.
Yeah.
Okay.
You kind of want to be just swapping targets and stuff like that.
We often see like a collector come in, not even necessarily.
A ver con qué nos encontramos aquí.
Sometimes it's like, what else are you going to build on an MF?
Bueno, ayer por motivos obvios, chicos, fue el peor día de remo del año. Creo que ayer fue el día de todo 2026 que menos stream hicimos. Fue bastante raro, Que fueron 5 horas nada más. No, no llega. Por la noche, Docax hicimos. Por la mañana no pudo ser, hubo algunas reuniones. Pues bueno, ahí vamos, Gencho. Ha habido momentos mejores.
And it is Smolder reminder done here for Geo as well. Item number 2.
I think it's something I'm always a bit concerned about when you're playing into Rise in its current state and you let the game go later. The fact that KT already have 2 dragons, but I think they have tools to potentially shut him down. We are now going into this dragon setup. All
Vale.
flashes available.
Jugando para el alma, no les queda otra. Solo son 1200 de oro de ventaja, Olaf, ítem y medio. El Nocturne aún es un buen momento. Y no es fácil engaguear para los brositos cuando no tienen la zona, fijaros. Tienes que meter un muro o que entre corriendo el Kled. Ojo. Pero, ¿qué acabo de ver? Entra con todo también casting el gancho, que es bueno. Cuidado con Kuzmalo, con avaricia. Va a sobrevivir Cucito. Llega el... Madre de Dios, la que les van a pegar. ¿Qué es esta party hard? ¡Huevazo gordo! Lo gana Katie. Es que no podían gaguear los brositos, chicos. Si no tienes la posición, no puedes meter engage. Digo en el fan de los brositos gladioleado. Increíble.
Does the stuff on the ground. Don't stand in the fire, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at how this one worked again.
Effort kind of botches his early engage, and Teddy does a good culling to keep them kind of at bay off to the side. But Teddy starts to try and get damage down here, gets exhausted, and then is chasing perfect into this brush over here, and kind of can't hit him because of the lack of vision. Meanwhile, BDD so aggressive.
Malo con avaricia,
Geo puts the Anivia into egg. And it's just this mid-80 carry duo for KT. They see a target, they kill a target.
Si no tenían la posición ganada era terrible, chicos. Y claro, tu forma de entrar es correr para adelante con el Kled y que te sigan el resto. No era tan fácil entrar. Porque el Jarvan lo puedes parar. Si entra el Jarvan y mete una R y no puede saltar el Kled es GG. Ojo. Lo que pega ya el Olaf, Lo que pega ya el Olaf. Los ha dejado reventados. La ulti de Miss Fortune es buenísima, Mira que no es tan fácil, ahí pegarla. Porque no tienes tú precisamente una R de Jarvan o algo así para el combo. Pero el ángulo era espectacular. Esto, chavales, huele, Huele a GG, Huele a GG's. Hoy es el cumple de Guiloto,
Yeah, Teddy is going to look for a bit of an angle here. His cuz is taking a lot of damage. Let's see. Piercing Light does come on down. He's looking to chase after this Nocturne. Oh, gets a bit of speed from the Cinders. Cinder value, ladies and gentlemen.
One more dash.
Teddy, he's going to get one.
The Cinder.
Oh, the Cinder, another one. Teddy gets another one too, though.
Oh, nice snipe.
The minion.
Look at BDD on the map. He has Realm Warp. Was that an overchase? Was that enough for him to get in? It looks like the pings are coming through.
Or was it all a bait? There's Actualizer making his way up, and yeah, BDD is very, very
Ahí Namgung,
Namgung going to be taken down first. He tries to ult himself beforehand. There's the blast cone. Perfect trying to get kited here as Effort throws down the dredge line, but now the culling is going to come through.
Los arrasan, ¡Ay, Gideon, hijo! Otro que es también maula con avaricia, Se ha roto por completo la partida, bueno, ya hace cuando la teamfight del dragón, ¿no? Pinta rarete.
And they just dive in with the Nocturne, and the threat of the Olaf as well makes it so uncomfortable for the Anivia. Well,
speaking of uncomfortable Anivias here, sir, she is dead once again. Effort will be traded.
Die for it. Yeah, in that last fight, it was actually Gideon like cataclysmed Roma in with Perfect, which,
Oh no!
you know, was not ideal.
Pues señores,
Now
pinta rarete.
7,000 gold lead. KT will just demolish these structures if they want to push anymore, but looks like they'll back off, seeing the respawns coming in from Teddy. They feel no pressure in this game to force things right now. They are so strong right now. And this is that chase. You know, Cuz using the Cinders, kiting away, playing into the fog of war as well. Teddy not having blue trinket. And then when he finally gets him with a snipe, you can see all of
Tío, lo que le han venido por lo que sean muy bien las volutas esas de fuego, tío, para pillar extra de velocidad. Si no, yo creo que ni lo pillaba, ¿eh? Pues más o menos, Canduterio.
But it's just not enough. It's just not strong enough when Perfect and BDD are level 16, very bulky. It just does not have the damage.
Yeah, Teddy trying to use the culling to find some value, doesn't really get too much of anything at all. And Perfect, even though he's stuck inside a Cataclysm, he is going to be absolutely fine. Having a look here at Roma, who is trying a little bit of a cheek.
El muro es muy bueno, tío.
I mean, Effort has just found the angles
Pero
over and over again. And Gio is just looking phenomenal.
Al tener que intentar escapar de la R de Miss Fortune, le deja el ángulo perfecto de gancho a Effort, ¿eh? ¡Qué locura, eh! El pomelo le ha dado mucha suerte a Kuz, ¿eh? Completamente pomeleado, señores.
Yeah, he's been having massive value in the team fights and this lane strategy of, oh, I'm chunked, I'll just run back. Oh, I'm chunked, I'll just run back. He definitely got his steps in.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely pomele, eh?
He gets to this point where he's just monstrously strong. The bloodthirst, it means he can't really be poked.
And you can't get that strategy banned out with Fearless as
La
well,
Nibia de
because he can
Jojo,
play
no me
Echo
jodas,
in
tío.
and it'll be totally fine.
Yeah, why not? At this point, we've seen so many things bot lane. Why not?
Luis de la Fuente a BDD.
Why stop here? Yeah.
La calva de pura aura, eh.
Rammus and Hecarim.
Rammus, Hecarim bot lane.
Not together, because Gio needs to play them so he can run really fast.
Right.
To get back to the lane.
Okay, I hear it. So
Yeah,
Rammus bot lane instead of support, like BRO did.
Yeah, perfect.
Ahora está perfecto, eh.
He has to be the one farming, though. Yeah. We'll have to work out how the lane is going to work. I'm sure it's going to be great, though, whatever it is.
Con el calvo de las edades.
On that next dragon, and
608, tío.
difficult for BRO.
Bididiazo gordo, eh. Otro que no tiene que hacer servicio militar, por cierto, BDD.
I don't think BRO will challenge. I don't think they can, which feels bad. It's a third dragon. You'd love to contest this, but they're not in a position to do so.
También os digo que el año que viene se van a pelear muy hard por Perfect, eh. BDD porque no acabó la ESO, básicamente. De hecho, Faker era parecido. Aunque no hubiese ganado los Asian Games, Faker como que probablemente no lo iba a hacer igualmente en servicio militar, ¿sabes? La ESO Groni es como se llama aquí, secundaria, en plan, el instituto, básicamente. Educación básica.
And the Bros now finally going to group up, see whether they can get rid of some of this vision. We'll see whether KT just start a fight at the start of this, as there are just sweepers all over the place.
Yeah, Flash is back up and available, so a bit more safety for Roma on this Anivia. Be able to just play the distance. GA also picked up from Gideon.
Could actually be a bit of a big deal here. Finding that item spike and being able to make his way out onto the rift once again.
And he still doesn't have the IE though, and that's such a big factor. BDD's got a completed Zhonya's.
Oh God.
Bueno, pero no sé, en cada sitio es distinto, Grone. Aquí obligatorias hasta los 16 años. No solo el colegio. ¿Qué crees el Sergio Ramos del LoL? Sí. ¿PDD? ¡Hostia, el escudo, tú! ¡Qué locura! Nos quieren arrasar, ojito con los brositos. Romer muy tocado. Se va a acabar muriendo el maulazo de Gideon. No sé, alguna vez Destroyer hemos hecho la LCK con Mr. Frío, pero para la final o algún partido especial, ¿no? Mejor. ¡Ay, Teddy! ¡Ay, Teddy! ¡Lo que le pegan a Teddy! ¡Teddy! ¡Ay! ¿Teddy? No puedo hacer nada, tío. Vaya fedeadón de Miss Fortune. En línea, mamó Gladiolo. Pero lleva 8 kills.
And bro, you'd done what you needed to do. You'd stopped them from going for the Baron. I think this play was.
Ya lo sabes, Grone, da buena suerte, tío. Meter el remo.
We see them kiting back. The bait from the Realm Warp was pretty nice. They all sort of moved to try and respond to it, and then the Paranoia bullet time comes in. But look, they actually try and get onto BDD. Look how much damage he takes, and then the Actualizer's shield comes through. And bear in mind, he still had Zhonya's as well, and there's just no way you were able to deal with him. Teddy tries to find the damage, but like I said, the short-range Lucian's so hard to play in these team fights. So hard to find angles. He gets chunked out here. Has to disengage, but then sticks around, looks for the kill. I remember he was so close to completing an Infinity Edge, and he opted against finishing it here. They opt to fight when the Baron wasn't on the cards, and now KT have picked up that objective. Yes, Teddy has the Infinity Edge now, but you're 10,000 gold behind.
Yeah, Gio has an Infinity Edge and then some. He's got himself a scope for both of his guns as well. I'm sure you get one each. That's a pretty high value item. Looking for his GA as item number 5. And it's just an Elixir of Wrath and a Dream here for this Lucian. And even though, like, Perfect has only got 1 kill this game, Cuz as well, it's not been about them. It's about BDD and Gio and how well they've been dishing out this damage in these team fights. And Perfect has just been an annoyance that the bros haven't been able to answer.
Absolutely. Baron starting to apply that pressure now. Anivia's pretty good at helping to deal with waves, but she's the only person on Bro that can kind of really assist here with thinning these waves out and controlling them. It's a minute until Infernal Soul as well. And once again, there's just no vision for Bro anywhere near where the objective is going to spawn.
I've got an idea of what the bros want to do. They're going to try and tunnel their way to victory.
Okay.
11k al 32, eh. Es que... Es palizón, señores. O ver esta última jornada de LEC va a estar graciosa, la verdad. Hubo cabreo porque dije que... Veía opciones de... Bueno, opciones hay, ¿no? Pero... Yo creo que se queda fuera Koi. Ganará un mapa Navi y ya está. Felicidades a los 32 Trainter y también a los 33 Trainter si hay alguno por ahí, eh.
Gives you the space to just one-tap this turret. Crystalline Overgrowth helping out as, yeah, Gideon does not want to do this. Roma would have been there, but I think the Perfect was going to be fine. Didn't have Flash, so maybe Cataclysm and Crystallize could have been a problem. But that is going to be Infernal Soul here for KT. Happy to slow this game down, play it by the book. Not willing to throw anything away, even if they do have almost a 12,000 gold lead. Kind of want to get BDD to a perfect, you know, 8-0-8 type scoreline here as the Paranoia comes in. Gideon going to be able to get the knock-up here onto Cuz. That gets rid of him, but they do scare the bejeebers out of Namgung right now.
Able to disengage though, doesn't have to burn anything as well, so you're pretty happy. Now though, they're looking for Perfect.
Yeah, Perfect is just going to walk away.
Vale.
But the Cataclysm will prevent that.
Hostias.
Only one exhaust, unfortunately, so the Olaf will be going down. And now Effort, possibly in trouble, was trying to escape the Crystallize, which was being very frustrating. Finds a stun here, does Roma. And Effort is going to have to back away. No, he just turns it into an engage. Fire kick comes down, the egg is exposed.
Pues catazo gordo, chicos. ¡Mirad BDD! ¡Hostia, que tiene Zonia! Gladiolismo del bueno. Ahora es momento si tan solo no fueran 12.000 de oros por detrás, ¿no? Pues les acaban de meter un 4x1, ¿no? Cajón y al cajón. Ojo con Jiwoo, eh. A ver, pero Juanito, alguien de ese grupo tenía que ir a jugar el play-in, no hay más. Si no era KT, era D+, es lo que tenía el grupo de los buenos. Que uno iba a mamar Gladiolo. Pues enhorabuena, Jiwoo. Ya tienes highlights para el vídeo de YouTube de tu carrera. Pues facilito. En fin, a ver quién acaba con el calvo de las edades. ¡Ojo, el level 1, eh! Aquí hasta mi abuela, tú. Aquí hasta mi abuela level 1, eh. Han llegado a ver a Lorne, ¿eh?
Casting already there, deciding to make a bit of money off this on here in the laning phase. That first strike.
I think for me, this has been the best strategy for Rumble, is the first strike into the tanks and you just generate a ton of gold, you're ahead of the curve, you can get your high value items. We've also seen the Deathfire...
A ver, no tanto, Chuchu. La Calista LOL no puede bajar. Para empezar, tú te has dejado del rey. Ya... o el Kraken o cualquier cosa de esas. Y acabas teniendo bastante ataque speed. El tema de bajar a los tankers de la Calista es que tardas... yo diría que un pelín más que si es, yo que sé, por ejemplo, una Felios, esas cosas lo bajan antes. Pero lo sigues bajando bastante mejor que si eres, yo que sé, Real, que si eres GEN.G, Varus. O sea, no está mal. Pero la Calista es que no tiene tampoco tanto rango. Pero si tú vas por delante, que es la idea con ese champion, te lo bajas fácil, coño. En verdad, Calista escala bien. El tema es que muchas veces, pues yo que sé, juegas contra una Oriana, juegas o contra cualquier cosa que pueda tener un poco de rango y te meta slow. Y eso hace que sea infumable. ¡Ay, BDD! Se comió el tower hit. Pero Roamer humillado bajo torre. Hoy creo que Roamer no va a hacer bailecito, ¿eh? Ya estamos llenos de apuestas, ¿eh? ¿Qué tal, Azacanas? Ahí vamos.
I think KT pretty happy with how things are playing out in these early levels.
See a few first picks here as Teddy and Namgung haven't actually played this combo just yet in the LCK. Of course, if you've been a Teddy fan for a while, you know that he is well versed on the Kalista. But you really do need to see whether he's found some positive performances more recently. I can say that his last solo queue game was on Kalista and he lost.
Oh.
So there's that.
Well, hoping to redeem himself.
Yeah. You know, never end the night on a loss. So maybe this counts as last night, which is, I think, when his last solo queue game was on that particular account, as we don't necessarily know how many accounts these guys are playing on. That is just the only known one that I have access to.
Good trades again from KT, and I feel like Teddy and Namgo really want to push this wave and get a restart off themselves. They're just kind of being pressured out. Effort with the glitter lances, just making Teddy really pay for this.
Yeah, this is getting real difficult as Teddy is just going to leave. Going to make his way back in again. A little bit more power, might be able to find himself some shoes or something like that, but I don't think Berserkers are coming in just yet. It's a little bit too early for that one.
So the important thing for KT is that you just be really cautious about investing into skirmishes in the bot side, specifically because that's really where Cluster Renata shines. Yes, the laning is very strong. Yes, you can bully out a lane. That's not obviously...
O sea, esta partida es al final también esperar al primer ítem de Calista, ¿no? Antes de eso es bastante complicado. Lo que sí que es verdad es que en medio Roamer podría estar un pelín mejor, ¿no? Lo que pasa es que el Tito BDD pues viene Prime, ¿no? Y le está humillando. Confían en usar el L y que no tengan que bajarse. A ver, ya os digo que ni siquiera es que cuando juegas con, pues eso, con Kalista, LeBlanc, ese tipo de champions. Realmente la mayoría de veces hasta el primer ítem no es que sean tan opresivos, ¿no? Veremos.
Does feel a little bit better to have that bit of extra AD as Ju taking some damage here. Finally, BRO finding themselves some okay trades here in this lane. As Equalizer just gonna wipe out the wave, give casting that very comfortable reset.
It's definitely been a slower jungle series so far. Gideon cuz kind of just prioritizing farm in the early levels, not actively looking for too much. Obviously game 1 there was a Nocturne, there was a Jarvan on the other side, and here as well. I think it makes sense for KT to slow the pace of the game down, and we all know BRO and BRU is a classic.
Oh, Cuz going to be taking a bit of damage here, but no Vault Breaker to connect. Gideon is going to get poisoned. Looks like he will be able to get control of this Rift Scuttler, though.
I think it's just so hard to really hold an Fury accountable. The leap is so large, so much terrain that you can get over. BRO, though, almost kind of asking
A ver, Gideon and company.
KT to challenge them. Big thing is because Gideon picked up the Scuttle, he's now hit level 6, has that ult available, Cuz is not there.
Yeah.
Does match the upgraded smite, importantly, though. He can try and go for a steal here.
Not going to be able to get there.
Good moves from BRO. And I think they had the confidence to go for the dragon, and they would have been ready to take a fight. As I said, Callisto are not super good in their skirmishes. The fact that Gideon got the level 6 first, everything was stacked in BRO's favor. So I think the right read from KT to kind of just maybe fish for a steal, but not really commit to anything.
Not doing it just yet. As we have a slight gold lead for Geo, but that is just because he picked up a cult. And that is giving him a bit of extra money.
Perfect.
Taking a lot here from casting, who just silences himself and goes to town on this on.
Sí, a ver, si llega a minuto 30, pues más o menos lo tienes hechísimo, ¿no? Tampoco estás mamando tanto en bot. La cosa, tío, que los junglas, las dos partidas, bueno, Gideon sí que ha sacado un gank abajo, ¿no? Pero es como que está costando mucho, salvo cuando tú ves un gank level 3. Es que hacer full clear hasta level 6 está muy fuerte, tío. Salvo que puedas hacer un dive, es jodidillo.
When we get to those bigger team fights, and I think a big thing is because they got the early dragon very early, it puts pressure on KT. If the soul definitely is an impactful one, it'll force KT to fight sooner rather than later for that third dragon. We get a swap coming in from KT. Last game it was Teddy who made the swap to kind of great effect. But we'll just be Geo picking up some farm here. I think that's one thing with the role quests, is that obviously swapping like this is going to take a dent on the bot lane role quest, but you don't actually get that much.
Ya, no está arriesgando absolutamente nadie. Es que yo creo que los dos equipos quieren primer ítem, ¿sabes? Los dos están contentos con que haya first item. Cambio de líneas para pillar los Kevins. Ahora sí que se va a acelerar un poquito la calista, Porque, a ver, plaquismo, wave de gratis, un reset espectacular.
Gideon very upset about that. He's Gideon grubs for a reason. Still, 2 plates do go over to the bros here towards his bottom side. And that has largely equalized the gold advantage that Geo had picked up earlier on. This huge stack of minions. They might even be able to get to a third one, but not going to happen. And Geo is able to pick up a lot of these. We'll be able to reclaim that CS lead. As now I'm going to get discovered here by Geo. Throws a slurkle in just to make sure that he knows what's going on.
Both junglers around the bot side of the map if anything's going to break out, but definitely a different vibe than last game, where there was the Nocturne, who's that constant looming threat. Roma is, would you believe, roaming. Has found
Okay.
And probably does not want to tango with the Neferi.
And we've got another room as well, as there's a great knock-up onto casting. The Ram comes down, grabs the knock-up onto the...
Debería estar muerto, ¿no? Por lo que sea. No puede ni limpiar la wave, tío. Ha sido como el map, o sea, como en la mapa anterior, tío. Pero en vez de hacer el gank en top, lo ha hecho en... O sea, en vez de hacer el gank en bot, lo ha hecho en top, tío. En las dos partidas, BDD ha ganado su línea y una de las otras dos. Es una locura, Y otra vez sin perder farm. Qué puta locura, tío. O sea, la dominancia de este tío... Vale, que Roamer, pues... Roamer, ¿no? Para lo que da el chaval. Pero masterclass, Pero masterclass total.
Perfect casting indeed, Ox. That's the top lane. And you. All right, let's have a look at it again. The perfect casting of the perfect timing from BDD.
Yeah, I mean, casting just knows he's dead. As a fact, Perfect gets behind him and even like bumps him back a little bit. He was dead. So doesn't burn anything apart from trying to clear the wave out, uses Equalizer, saves his flash. And in terms of his lane matchup, doesn't really make that much of a difference, but giving gold over to BDD is going to feel BADD.
Yes, I think that is certainly not a good time. As Teddy just seeing where Geo and Effort are going. And the Bros really struggling to find some momentum. I think it's the tempo vibes that they've just not been able to claim. And I think they're what the bro tax really pays for.
Yes, I was going to say, we can always find a culprit, and it is bro tax.
Out.
Yeah.
If it's not sufficient, they are going to struggle.
Look at this. You can tell Cuz to leave by leaving enough bro tax in the chat. And then he'll back away.
Respeta mucho Casting, ¿eh? Casting es otro que... Es lo típico que, por ejemplo, si era a Perfect se lo quita Gen.G o un equipo así. Pues a lo mejor Casting el año que viene está en un Katie o en algo de ese estilo, ¿no? Hostia, vaya equilibrador, tío. ¡Madre de Dios! ¿Cómo coño tiras mal el equilibrador a una wave? ¿Hola? Me metí instamufa, ¿eh? Pues vale. Kingen para T1, pues no sé, chicos. ¿Cuántos años tiene Kingen? Es que siento que muchos de esos les quedan pocos años, tío. Sigu es rarete. Yo sé que hay mucha gente que es siguista, ¿eh? Hay mucha gente que es fan de Sigu. Yo lo siento, pero no, ¿eh? No lo veo, gente. Lo de Siguito no lo veo.
Could be very, very difficult for the Bros unless the Bros have put the time and effort into figuring out how this comp is going to work. And it's about now that they're starting to get very, very powerful as the Ram just going to try and clear out this wave. Teddy just bouncing on over towards Perfect here. Nice knock up.
Yeah, good work there. It's such a satisfying noise when he just briddles all of the minions and you just hear that noise constantly.
What is the most satisfying noise in League of Legends?
Heartsteel.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I still feel like it's probably Jax hitting a turret.
That's pretty good too. But just Heartsteel so much when you hear it like ticking up.
A ver, por eso estaba tan rayado el de Gen.G de que no fuera los Asian Games skin, chicos. Lo que hay.
You have been a bit of a Heartsteel enjoyer for many, many years, have you not?
Yeah. I remember when it first came out and before it got nerfed in ARAM, and obviously that was before ARAM Mayhem. And it was just, you just ran every game. Everyone had one, you'd have like 3,000 stacks. A better time.
¿Qué tal, Alender? Pues bueno, ha habido días mejores, ¿no? Ha habido días mejores. Pero... ahí vamos. Con un dolor de cabeza criminal.
I think the point they add things like Gore Drinker or Gale Force in the Classic, I'm like, okay, this is feeling like last week.
Yeah. If Gale Force makes it in.
No creo de Navi, que han puesto los de Navi. Tío, se veía venir que iba a ser early y tranquilo, ¿eh? Give me beat to somebody, ¿qué es esto?
Didn't Heartsteel come out after Gale Force?
I think it might have been a similar.
Give me beat to somebody.
You might be right though, actually.
Wow.
Puto Sandy, tío.
We get the Malignants coming in for Roma. Big spike for the Ahri. Definitely a lot of power there.
Ahora que los vídeos los tienen que subir antes. Ay, Teddy, que hay que respetar, tío. Ya tienes casi 2 ítems. Tiene que forzar a los brositos ya pronto, ¿eh? Aunque bueno, mientras vayan pillando Drakes tampoco está tan mal. O sea, es como que quieres acelerar la partida, pero tampoco tienes Brion, no tienes forma de hacer jugadas. Te han tirado top. Si no abres medio es jodido. ¿Y cómo abres medio contra esa compo, tío? Es verdad, creo que la gente no es consciente de la presión que mete BDD. Y lo que te dificulta es nubolear estas partidas por eso, ¿eh? Ya, hombre, quieren ir a Madrid, pero lo tienen jodido, ¿no? Al menos hay opciones. Y es el cumple de Diego Pablo Guilletón, ¿eh?
huge value into Roma and casting. The only thing he has to really be concerned about is if Teddy starts free hitting him. So looks like we're getting started a little bit early before that Dragon's up as KT looks for this Herald.
Oh, Roma's roaming, looking for a bit of an angle here. He's on a pretty good flank, but the scatter catches him.
Hostias.
Out of their great charm is going to catch Cuz as they just take
Vale, lo ha recogido Gideon,
from under the noses of KT.
Lo llega a enganchar y yo creo que sí que lo bajan, Bueno, le forzan el flag, vamos, pero... Algo es algo. Qué importante es el heraldo en esta partida para abrir medio, Es totalmente clave. En los últimos mes que viene, Serneas también vienen los perros, pero sin energía. Joder. Hay energía, da pereza, ¿no? Serneas creo que me salió Shiny, el nivel tal no. Había gente que decía que Roma era mejor que APA. La cama que le han hecho a APA en Clonen es histórica, Lo digo ya. Una vergüenza. La mejor liga de buena cobra. Me pilla la Switch 2 por tu culpa. Joder, tanta influencia tengo. No me jodas. Yo el Yoshi la verdad que me lo estoy gozando y el Donkey Kong era una locura, Ahora hay buenos juegos. El Splatoon también está bien. Ojo. Cuidado porque han podido cazar a Perfect. Mirad cómo lo bajan, chicos. Mirad si lo bajan o no, Alorn. Mirad si lo bajan o no. Teddy getting some good damage down there. And honestly, his pierces, the Qs, have been connecting on a good targets. Oh, yeah. He's chunking out Jigo before as well. Now, if we get the Ren stacked up on the Dragon, it's almost impossible to steal. Well, now, the Ram is going to come through. There is that... Hostias, qué combo, No puede tampoco entrar Romer, pero son 3 dragones por 0. Perfect muy tocado. Tienen que jugarlo con cuidado. ¡Jobididi! ¡Vaya liada, señores! ¡No matan a nadie! ¡Hostia! Lo ha llegado a matar, Pero ya vas por detrás en oro, Qué jodido va a ser ya este game. Es incapaz de clicar la piña, tú. Con la mierda de los perros. No podía clicar la piña. Ha salido caro el tercer Drake, Tío, la fight es horrenda, ¿El posicionamiento qué es exactamente? Es que claro, Gideon, por querer asegurarlo... Oye, es una puta drogada eso. No puedes hacer eso. Teniendo... la E de la Calista, no puedes dasear hacia adelante para asegurar con el puño el dragón. Todo esto es consecuencia de la mierda que ha hecho Gideon, Vaya drogada, Es que usar la Q para matar al Drake cuando tienes una Calista, tío, me parece surrealista, Vaya degenerado, chicos. Sí, Allen, es el play-in. La de no hace más daño que la Q, no, hombre, no. La Q cargada pega muchísimo más. Pero que es innecesario, vamos. Ah, es que es BDD, tío. Ahead in money by just a little bit, and that's crazy because there's a first strike on casting. The whole sort of point was to make money, and unfortunately hasn't been able to do so. Sitting en fin.
0 on this rumble, yet to really find value here in this game. I mean, that's the thing when you play rumble into a tank.
A ver qué hacen estos vividores.
More items, you need to be ahead in gold, and then just be that super strong rumble. The benefit you get is you're getting a free lane. You can farm first strike off. And then you come into this point of the game and you hopefully at 2 items are really strong. Instead, you're on par with the Ornn, but the Ornn has upgraded that Koenig routine and has better economy items, cheap items that give a lot of power, and so you're just not going to feel as useful from this point onwards. The Ornn is going to continue to add value to KT for the rest of the game. And speaking of value, BDD 3-0 and 3 now has his dash cannon and Blackfire torch completed. And
Ojo Kuz, malo con avaricia. Lo matan, lo matan. ¡Ay, vaya charm! Esto te da mucho oxígeno,
Looks like the Bros going to look for some more picks before they do anything else. The equalizer goes down with perfect dead. They might be able to find an angle as the Ram is going to get called, but he's...
Madre de Dios, Y mirad si lo bajan, Y mirad si lo bajan. Cuidado el brosazo gordo, ¡Hostias! ¡Hostias! Bueno, se drogaron. ¡Oh, no! ¡Oh, no! ¡Hostia, qué outplayeada! ¡Drogaron a Katie! ¡Drogaron a Katie! ¡Hostia, la W de Renata! No creo que Kuz haga el milagro, ¿no? Rom era like, quiero joder tercios, Con poco estuve en Vitality y Kakor, ¿qué pasó? Pues que yo sepa no ha vuelto a jugar en equipo. That's what I think. Ve a Roamer. ¡Ojo, cerdo trufero! Muchas gracias, cerdito, por el remismo, Pelea random,
I feel like when you're playing picks like Neferi or Ornn, who are... Ornn's very tanky, has a dash. Neferi, very mobile. You have this presumed sense of safety. It's kind of like we've seen a lot of our Ezreals dying around mid lane, and I think they just disrespect the opponents. The pick potential, the chase down potential for this comp is extreme. Able to get those 2 kills, and then this is the big turning point. They try and commit onto Gideon, he just gets out. Teddy steps up, knows he has the safety of the Renata. There's even this polymorph stun that looked like he could doom them, but the bailout's there. We see the Vi come back in, Gideon choosing the perfect moment to punish, and Namgun's hostile takeover finds everything it needs now, though. The setup is here for this soul. KT trying to push in and get control. And Gideon hanging around the edge. Feels like they're being pushed off a little bit, but not a brush control going over to BRO. And it's them with the gold lead now.
Hostile takeover is not quite available just yet. Namgung still waiting for it. I think KT well aware. They have all of their ultimates at the ready. All of their flashes also up and available. Roma doesn't have his, Gideon doesn't have his. Teddy, thankfully, has his flash up, but not the barrier.
Okay, hostile. See what the
Bros can actually do here.
Takeover in 5, and Teddy's starting to stack the Rens on the Dragon. KT need to do something soon.
Let's see.
Tiene muchas lanzas, Hay Gideon, hijo. Van a entrar con todo, cazadita, Bididi. Gideon que vuelve a salir, recuperan y van a llevarse el alma. ¡Al mazo gordo! ¡Y va a morir perfect! Brosazo. Qué locura, tercio.
Oh, Gideon fishing, won't find more, but he was the superhero in that fight. Did he get a kill? No, didn't need to, but he shot down. Stopped him from being able to do anything. Just bought time, and then the back end, they clear up perfect, but the soul is secured. That's the main thing here.
Oh, and now Elder is on the map in 5.5 minutes.
So the ult comes out from perfect, and basically at the same time, Gideon flies in, grabs Jiwoo. Jiwoo has to flash away from the charm, and Gideon just leaves. He's like, look, we got the Dragon Loner.
Qué locura,
Get the soul and leave. He does find his way to pick up perfect on the back end, but the main thing was that he stopped the backline of KT from doing anything. He stopped Jiwoo from playing the game. BDD had to respond to the threat, and then he disengage again. It didn't matter that he didn't kill Jiwoo, that Roma wasn't able to finish him off. It bought time, they got the soul, and they got out.
Really nicely played by the Bros, and Gio almost actually halved BDD's health bar with just that hostile takeover that came in. So really nicely played by the Bros. It split up the team fight completely. And now, with this Infernal Soul, Bros find themselves with a whole lot more power here in this game. It's going to be doing a lot of work, as well as the fact that they have a lot of ability to make use of it with a composition like this that just does so much damage just in general. And Infernal will help them have some more longevity here in this game.
Such an explosive composition. And they've been piloting it really well. It's Elder in 4 minutes 20, Baron in 2 minutes 30. Big objectives that KT has to have in mind. I just feel like they're not in that great of a position right now. The ornaments have started to come out, but not that many so far. Jiwoo's items looking a bit dismal. You have the core, but not the IE, the last Whisper item. Okay, IE picked up now, but still lacking that extra pen, whereas Teddy is able to invest in tankiness. He's doing enough damage. The buff Terminus as well.
Yeah.
That was made stronger not too long ago in his hands.
He's also almost got that Jack shows done as well. So like you were saying, extra tankiness.
I mean, when you have a Renata with you as well, that tankiness makes you so hard to deal with. And we've seen that when he just starts stacking up the Rens, it doesn't even take that many auto attacks before he's able to get the reset and bring him back after being taken down in the bailout.
Yeah, not
Qué barbaridad,
fight anywhere near a minion wave. It can just be really, really difficult to deal with this Kalista.
And it's actually so annoying when a Kalista is sieging now with a static shiv.
Yeah.
And it just chains through the minions. You end up getting stacks onto you as well. And so Teddy can rend and even just damage you off the back of that. It's pretty obnoxious.
Well, more of Mount Mortius even completed here for Gideon. Decides not to go for a third item GA. Just wants that extra magic resistance. Understands that Geo is mainly going to be held up in the sky by him during this game.
Yeah,
so just needs to not die to BDD.
Doesn't want to get ulted and just removed from the game by BDD, which is kind of understandable.
Yep, I would also not like that to happen to me. As Teddy taking out these waves, taking out these wards, control of the Baron Pit is what the bros want. Their turn is so scary as well. If they ever do get the control that they're looking for, which they have now.
It is the Huni Baron, so a little scary.
Dangerous Baron.
But I think it kind of testament to the level of control they're trying to establish over this area. Completely shutting out the vision from KT right now. The closest ward to the Baron is that control ward we can see on the left of the screen now.
Oh man, that is quite a ways away.
Yeah, a bit more than a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, I would say so. Cuz is now going to go into the scary dark.
The thing is, Cuz has a lot of tools to outplay Engage, but we've seen before.
Ojo a los brositos, No te he dicho que hay gente que los ha puesto como favoritos,
Pretty squishy.
Yeah, and if you avoid one of them, there's so many others that are coming after you, right? Like Vault Breaker, Cease and Desist, Charm, even the Fate's Call is just so incredibly scary. And the Handshake as well can be absolutely devastating. Namgung has been playing a great game so far. 100% kill contribution on this Renata. And the bros now set up once again. Perfect, wanting to face check, but it's getting more and more difficult as great Charm connects onto Cuz. Does go up into the sky eventually, but he is basically out of the fight before it's even begun.
And there's no camps actually nearby for him to sustain up. The Fury can heal up really quickly if Raptors or Wolves are up, but they're down, so he has to actually go for the recall.
Oh, there are pings actually onto where Gideon is here, looking for a bit of a wraparound as BDD just takes a cheeky little cinder.
I think one problem though is that BDD can chunk Gideon with a Maw, not able to one-shot him. But if the rest of the move there give away, they know where Gideon is.
Well, Gideon has been kind of scoped out though, as the Scry's Orb does come on down. Gives KT the information that this hasn't been started yet.
Gideon's still trying to fish from this position.
Oh, if he actually starts off these Raptors, it could be pretty scary. As the bros just continue to wipe out these waves and then go back to the Fog of War. They do not want to start this Baron though.
Yeah, I think it's fine. You know, it's the Huni Baron, it's Dangerous Baron. You also have some item buys to come in before that Elder spawns. Teddy's close to Jack Show. Roma's close to Void Staff. Gideon, I think, could pick up Merc Treads on a back. So if you get a chance to recall and reset before the Elder, it makes sense. But Gideon's actually sticking around here.
He keeps getting stopped by BDD. I think he Scry's bloomed him, and now KT on the Elder. This is so dangerous, like you're saying. Cuz not going to quite find the daggers, and Gideon will be able to make his way out, but that was almost game-losing.
Yeah, able to navigate away. Teddy got the Jack Show and a red pot. This is a big buy. He is so strong.
Well, now the Elder even getting involved here is Perfect taking some damage, I think. But not entirely sure. His health bar is pretty large.
And pressure's going to be on KT, because again, if Teddy stacks up the Rend on the Dragon, this has been fatal for KT in 2 Dragon fights before. They can't let him do it again, because Elder would just be a game ender.
Well, look at all the sticks that are already in this Elder. As Teddy just happily tanking it up. Casting is on a
Ok. ¡Hostias! ¡Ha fallado el charme! ¡Ha fallado el charme! Esto es una fumada, Lo que pasa que Teddy los limpia, Lo que pega la Kalista, señores. Lo que pega la Kalista. Pues GG's, Esto es GG's,
They find the Engage, they find The damage is there, bro. Get the momentum and get a 5-0 ace. Game 1 looked pretty one-sided, but bro, answer back and take us to the 3rd game of the series.
Oh, that is what we were looking for. Almost a guarantee that will make it to maximum games here in this series. Gorgeously played here by the bros. And that is your bro tax at work, ladies and gentlemen. We called you out for it earlier on.
Muy facilito. Muy facilito, chicos. Esto es bueno para jeta directa, chicos, Ok, señores. Vamos allá. Pero qué pena que... Bueno, no estaba baneada la Kelly, ¿no? Que es que esta línea con Sivir tampoco está mal porque puedes evitar el Cocoon, ¿no? Pero lo que pega la fucking Elise, tío. Da una pereza curiosa. Hombre, pues estaría bien, ¿no? You know me. Lo que pasa que eso pinta complicado, ¿eh? ¡Elisazo! ¡Ay! Cinzadazo gordo, ¿eh? Es muy buena esta, ¿eh? Porque encima vas a... Yo creo que puedes divear al 3, ¿eh? ¿Le da tiempo a hacerse los golems antes de que vea el Wukong que no hay red? A ver. Creo que no, ¿eh? Creo que les va a dar tiempo a saber que está ahí el Sinzao. Porque el Wukong hace rápido los picuchillos y les... ¡Hostia! Y les va a empezar a avisar. Ya lo saben que está ahí el Sinzao. No los pueden divear. Lo dije ayer es por maníacos, Vextor. No hay forma de saberlo ahora mismo. Lo de Yoyopion. Es imposible saberlo.
Now that the action is over, we can have a look at some of our keystones and things like that. Nothing is really standing out as far as anything crazy. Double electrocutes for our supports on the bottom side is no surprise. No. Storm Raider's Surge, kind of interesting, I guess, for the Jace. But not really.
Moving up to the top side to try and cover and defend these camps from Cuz. Great read right now. Because Gideon ends up at a big advantage if he gets to clear up his own camps.
M. Koizini, no por Dios. A ver, M. Koizini a lo mejor lo arreglan, ¿eh? Puede ser, ¿eh? Hostias. Se pasó de listo Namgun cuando no tenía flash, ¿eh? Qué locura, ¿eh? Flaque en Koi. Bueno. Si eso pasa, los haters de Flacked.
And if we have a look at this one more time, I'm just wondering whether there was like a minion that he was looking for that was moving out of the way that he couldn't actually get to. No, you saw the one that he wanted.
It's because of the Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
Aha.
The Trouble Bubble came out, and he's like, I just have to repel now. Am I in range? And the answer was no, so... Good pressure there.
Increíble.
Yeah, very nicely done. Still, Namgung is a man built on deaths. He's very happy to go 0-1 by 5 minutes. In fact, I would say that he could probably go 0-2 by now.
He's definitely set that sort of pace before.
Oh, yeah.
And at least is that sort of champ.
Pues Crazy Seed de manual, ¿eh?
You will get a lot of kills in a lot of situations, but you can't just die and repeat.
Yeah, let's just say Itsy Bitsy Spider doesn't get up and down that water spout by staying alive the whole time. It's now Geo taking a bit of damage here. Teddy trying to do what he can. It's a decent spell shield, but Gideon's coming down one more time. Wind becomes lightning, just barely avoided by the Sivir. And it's another recall to come through from Namgung.
The pressure's there, but they're not really finding the angle in. Gideon's trying to chase these finite windows where he can threaten Jiwoo, but a good job from Jiwoo in effort to mitigate this, buy time until Cuz can move over.
Un mil wins se van a Vitality con Mauro. Para flipar sería eso,
Yeah, Romer is doing a pretty good job here in this mid lane. Staying ahead in
Sería para flipar.
winning out on a few of these trades.
I will say, one of the things I always found really frustrating about LeBlanc.
Oh man, he flashes to get the ethereal chains and finds the solo. Roma with the kill under BDD to even out
¿Qué
the
cojones acaba de pasar?
It is this
¡Pero BDD! A una vez que le dejan el zoeísmo.
Confidence flashes to keep in range of the tether and kills BDD on his signature Zoe. The confidence. And I remember all those time ago.
Y a ver, tienen que convertir en francesa a Cana o algo para evitar que vaya.
Showmaker picked LeBlanc into his Orianna and killed him on repeat.
Oh yeah, he did.
Unceremoniously.
I was about to say, like, do we change his name to Rowmaker now?
Maybe.
Because that was Showmaker-esque. Cuz gonna actually go in on this one. Only level 5 and Namgung is gonna have to go.
Vuelve a morir la Elise. ¡Hostias! En serio no muere nadie ahí.
KT, they will get control of this river. Not able to get any kills.
The fact that Namgung just gets to walk out of that kind of crazy.
이거 미드도 그냥 찌르면 거기다 긁어
Oh,
넣은
we get a
거긴 해.
point of view replay.
And he hit everything.
Yo me llamo Vididito Salas.
So well played there.
Roamerazo gordo,
And this was
Roamerazo gordo, ya os lo digo.
One of the things I found so frustrating about LeBlanc is the amount of poke this champion can do and just not really being answerable. If a LeBlanc gets fed, you can just kind of like W over QRE, W back, and if they're not dead, they might as well be.
Yep. Gideon is also going to be able to find Cuz here. 3 talent strike doesn't quite work, but True Shot Barrage is going to get this monkey out of the battle. And Gideon, with level 6 already, there is no way that Cuz is going to be able to contest this, especially with no flash available. They are really keeping this Wukong down.
I really like how Gideon's approach to jungle this game, constantly looking to challenge Cuz. We've seen the jungles be a bit less active in the early games so far this series, but Gideon has tried to find these windows, tried to shut down Cuz, and even though he hasn't found the bot,
Increíble.
he's still been putting that pressure on.
BDD gonna have to walk his way out of this one. Sweep comes on through. And now I'm going over here as well. As they look to take down this ward. They will be able to get rid of it. BDD just biding his time though.
If you set up control around mid lane for Roma, he will roam.
He will.
Yeah.
He will be more of a roamer than BDD. Because BDD is a BDD.
Yeah, and you make it so tricky for BDD to move into the fog of war, which has been his way of getting advantages for his team in the early levels in both previous games.
Oh, Teddy looking for a solo here towards Jiu. Does get his health back with that spell shield. The exhaust comes down. And a couple of buttons do go wide. Oh, there's that rotund hitbox you were talking about. As Romer is going
Qué barbaridad,
find the damage to take down effort. But now Cuz, he's on these grubs, and it's just going to get pushed away. Lit on fire here by the spider. Flashes in. Gets the cocoon, though. And even 2 cyclones is not enough to keep Cuz alive.
Brosazo. Chicos. Brosazo. Brosazo gordo. Brosazo gordo. No creo, ¿no? Que haya un brosazo gordo aquí. Pues tiene pinta de brosazo, ya lo he dicho. Mucha gente estaba poniendo de favorito a los brositos. Están jugándote una partida muy, muy buena a partir de medio con la LeBlanc, dejando abierta la Zoe de BDD y, al menos por ahora, minuto 9, demostrando que había un buen plan contra él. Cuidado, señores. Voy a abrir un cofre en la ilegal. Hostia, tío. Otro Pepo, tío. Solo me dan pepos en el pipo de estos. En la ilegal. Qué barbaridad.
play is just huge for Bro on the back of this. The fact that Effort survived.
Lo veníamos avisando. Ojo con los brositos. ¿Qué tal, mágico?
Really not able to find its footing here in this game. It's Sork Boots as well for Roma and the Merc Treads here for BDD. Just, you can understand the back foot the KT feel like they're on right now and needing to avoid just getting chain CC'd to death. I think is such a big deal. These Merc Treads are going to be so necessary. But it does mean that BDD will not have the same level of burst damage that Roma will have.
And especially, they've changed the weighting of these two.
Okay.
Patch where they took magic resist off Merc Treads, they took 5 away from it, and they gave 2 extra magic pen to the Sork shoes. So this is a different feel to how it would have been last patch, where it would have just been the Merc Treads magic resist completely eclipse how much pen the Sork shoes has, and you have extra. I mean, the magic shield's still very powerful against LeBlanc, but oh my lord.
That double distortion was just beautiful there from Roma. He really knows how to play this.
No sé yo,
It is working very, very well so far. As we haven't really had a look at Perfect versus Casting very much this game.
But Casting doing a pretty good job so far with the early lead. We've seen some players have been able to leverage the pressure that Jace has on the early levels and put the Yorick down. Some players have really fallen over in the early levels even against the Yorick. But eventually the Maiden does make it tricky.
Well, speaking of the Maiden, she is going to be summoned now as Casting. We'll just have to get to work with his hammer to take this one down. Gideon going to grab this Mountain Drake. Next one going to be a Chemtech. As the Bros have almost a 2,000 gold lead at this stage of the game.
And it's spread out across like multiple members. It's not just one person who's strong who could be shut down. A lot of the team are fed right now.
Yep.
And it was just, as well, that trade in the top lane, Casting, getting the Storm Raiders and disengaging now. We do have Cuz making his way in here.
Teddy gonna get slowed down, and there is Cuz just pouncing out of the brush. Teddy gets the barrier, flashes over the wall.
¿Qué cojones?
And oh no, Cuz gets pushed.
¡Hostias! Cuidado a la posible remontada de nada. Llega Roamer. Lo que pega, fallo a la cadena, No tiene cooldowns. Bolazo gordo. Hostias. Con un cadenazo mataban a otro porque la bola del Jace, si hubiesen matado primero, ¿no? Con la cadena, el bolazo le habría dado a otro y habría sido doble. Igualmente, salvo milagro de Perfect en sidelane, estos señores está muy donete. No creo, ¿no? La cosa era de Rimbun, en serio, sí, sí. Qué barbaridad.
A lot of stalling with the stasis, but they see the TP coming in, and Roma with the roam. Oh, close there. If the chain connects, I think they might have just potentially both died, but G with no way to really get away.
Pero es que yo creo que el bolazo, si no, se lo hubieran tirado a Kuz. Y podía ser doble.
Getting that final hit there, and now has a pretty sizable lead over Perfect in this top lane matchup. And between the Storm Raiders and the Ghostblade, a lot of mobility to kind of outplay the Yorick, who's a bit of a slow marching champion.
Yeah, not to mention if Cuz tries to come up and punish the Jace as well.
Ya, Víctor. No tiene nada que ver el Jace coreano contra bueno, el chino incluso también está bien, ¿no?
Perfect now parking himself in this bottom lane. There is a Roma in the brush. But he's looking to be marching back towards the mid lane as Gio and Teddy meet once again in this top side. 3 plates left on the top lane outer turret for the Bros, but 1 more for Gio to get. And he will be able to take down that turret. First turret blood still up and available.
Not doing that much damage to Perfect right now with those shock blasts.
Not so much.
But not really the main concern at this time.
This Yorick is pretty strong.
30 seconds on that Herald. And space control, so important for both of these compositions when you're into a Zoe, when you're into a LeBlanc. Being able to see where the skill shots or the champion is flying from makes all the difference It's been a while since we've had like an actual LeBlanc meta in the LCK, but we all remember the times of just a support face checking and just getting obliterated from the tug of war.
And I think that it's not even necessarily just supports. I think anyone face checking is just going to have to either go back via the death chamber or not. Romer is very, very strong right now with his upgraded shoes as well as his Ludens. And BDD does have the Ludens completed as well, but it just feels like Romer has hit his stride. Extra level on that Mimic as well. As now Effort and Cuz looking for a bit of a dive potential, but Namgung is here. And you've got Gideon moving down as well. The Maiden is likely to die as Casting should be able to grab this kill. One more auto, and she will be taken out.
Pero es que
50 gold over to
no parece, chicos, ni counter, ¿eh? El Yorick del Jace. O sea, se siente como que no fuera counter. Y mira que es buen matchup para el Yorick.
PP coming in. I think they see Cuz.
Yeah, Cuz was not wanting to push his luck there. He's just going to back away as Romer is going to move over, pop some Crystalline Overgrowth. Does manage to do that and goes back to his Distortion. So a bit of extra money with that plate going on over. Now the bros looking for an angle here towards the Rift Herald. Casting, realizing that Perfect may not be alone. Is just going to back away instead of looking for more of a fight here as Cuz.
¿Eso quién te lo dijo, Vextor? Ya hace mucho que no veo a nadie que diga algo así. Mucho sentido no tiene.
Because Cuz and Perfect do a lot of damage to it. Teddy up here in this top lane, I don't think he's going to be able to win this race. So, that is going to be some extra money in the coffers of KT, but immediately answered here by the bros, and they do not lose their top laner.
Yo fíjate lo que pega ya BDD también, cuidado. A ver, son 2600, está un poco estancado, ¿no? Lo que pasa que es ese, si hubiesen llevado ahora 2 dragones y este pudiese ser el tercero, sería otra película, ¿no?
Oh, Trouble Bubble does come down onto Gideon. Effort finds the Cosmic Binding, is now G with on the hunt. Working out for him, Gideon trying to escape, realizes he won't be able to do so. When becomes lightning, Effort almost dies, but does manage to survive it, and they take down the jungler right as this dragon spawns. Roma possibly going to get engaged on here, as the chains do connect, and now Gio is in trouble. They just jump right on top of him.
No me lo puedo creer, tío.
I'm pretty sure it might have been, as man, 1-for-1, and Gio just
bye bye.
allowed to be in that spot.
Gladioled. Sí, que hay media ahí sí que es un problema, ¿eh? Claro, pero de media, si tú coges los 50 jugadores de la LCK, los 50 jugadores de la LEC, mecánicamente son mejores los de Corea. Eso es así. Otra cosa es que les puedas ganar, pero en una muestra de players son mejores, sin más.
Only a few stacks away from maxed out, and he's going to be very, very strong. Still, the bros just feeling like they have a positional advantage around this dragon. Gideon already starting that one up, casting here towards the bottom side.
Qué locura, tío.
Making their way over.
Pero no han dicho los de Project Red que vayan a sacar una edición física de Switch 2, ¿no? Que saquen el cartuchismo, va. Ay, Gideon, hijo. Yo me llamo Gideonito Salas. Amaño la partida. Yo me pasé de listo.
That was a crazy choice.
The Hextech alternate was some of the damage decks. I think the spell shield got distortion and the Hextech alternator helped to.
That makes sense. It was something that was a bit delayed.
Yeah. And then I think maybe had
Cuidado con los brositos.
He's going to be so fit. He's 9 stacks on the Dark Seal as well. So you could just grab Shadow Flame, Medjai's, and be on like the pseudo 3-item spike that feels so insanely strong.
Mi amigo Gideon es el único que yo creo que la puede liar, ¿no? Que fíjate, tío. Cómo va ya esta peña, ¿eh? Giwito.
You had such a strong start to the series, but really struggling in this game. You know, Siva has the spell shield, a lot of value here, but the short range proving to be troublesome. And Bro just getting more and more pressure. 2 dragons in pocket.
And a 60 CS lead for Teddy. Like,
Yeah.
Sivir is known, like, this was the matchup that Teddy got the most CS in the world on.
Yep.
And he was the Sivir.
And the thing is, we've always talked about the Sivir 400 CS win streak, but this game is not, it's not one where there's just easy targets to hit. It's also not one where KT can easily engage. Like, who are you actually going to engage on and how? Because LeBlanc and Ezreal both very safe. Jace can operate from a massive range. So, like, Bardo's very hard to land. There's Cuz just going in with a Cyclone, but that's not super reliable. I don't think KT can just necessarily team fight their way out of this hole that they're in right now.
Yeah.
I think picks are really going to be the impactful thing. But so far, bro, haven't really fallen prey. Casting did a phenomenal job to avoid being pressured. Gun lands.
Unbelievable. Cocoon gonna connect there. Still, Effort is getting
Joder.
engaged on. Does have to flash, get himself out of the way. As Gideon still has
Es que no pega nada todavía Yu, tío. Si no, yo creo que eso podría haber sido un liadón. Va hasta arriba, Uno de los coreanos trajeron jugadores extranjeros. En BBQ Olivers en su día jugó Malice. Tienen ahora, bueno, obviamente lo de Reckless. Y a día de hoy está Lazy Phil, ¿no? Que es vietnamita.
I think maybe they thought that Effort was just hanging out with Boris for a little bit longer. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one.
It does just negate that bit of pressure, though, which is nice. And we didn't talk about it before, but it is an Ocean Soul. Not the highest prio in this game, really. But it does mean that when you go in for these sort of poke wars, these attrition wars, you have such a massive advantage. Because if you trade blows, you come out with the extra health to sustain from it. And the mana, I think the thing that people don't talk about with Ocean Soul, it's a minor factor of it. It doesn't help you necessarily that much in teamfights, but the infinite mana for, you know, champions like LeBlanc can be really nice.
And not to mention the fact that, like, this is how the bros want to operate. And they're against, like, a Zoe with Merc Treads, right? Like, I don't think you're one-shotting anyone. And so if they go in for, like, this poke combo to try and make something happen, it's not really going to work. And I think the KT, they do want to be playing around Sivir, right? Ricochets,
¿Qué pasa,
like,
Purbito?
very consistent damage. But the way that the bros have been playing so far is they haven't really allowed that to happen. It's sort of duck and weave style League of Legends. Get in, get out. And that really suits that Ocean Soul that you were talking about.
Son 4.500, al 22. O sea, ya es una diferencia donete.
Does have his Sojourns completed, as well as his Trinity Force.
So I think this is the right move from KT to approach from the bot lane, but it does kind of show the state of things right now. Complete control for Bro on the mid lane, complete priority. Approaching from the center of the map is so difficult, and it means that you're kind of in this awkward spot for KT. You see a bit of poke coming down. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about, where, like, if you have Ocean Soul, Roma just heals back all the health you've been there, and it's just damage on Jiwoo. And Dragon up in 20 seconds.
Oh, beach ball.
Close.
Yeah, just barely goes wide, as Perfect is able to secure the Raptor camp. That's a little bit cute. Because on his red buff, they will be able to secure that. And BDD has a smite that he's collected from the ground. That's a pretty cute one.
Ocean Rift as well, there's more brushes. And they do have some good wards down here, but this one's going to get cleared out. They're going to try and rush their way in here. Roma's off to the side, though. Look at him.
Yeah, Gio is not really allowed to be here, as the chains are going to connect. That is going to be the Drake going on over. Sleepy Trouble Bubble does connect onto Teddy, but he is so far from danger. Gideon goes in. Crescent Guard is there as Effort will be wiped out. Tempered Fate from the grave just doesn't really do anything. And now Gio...
Oye, ¿a dónde Durex, chicos? O sea, toda la partida ha sido dominio de los brositos, KT no pudiendo hacer nada. Cada cosa que intentan sale mal. Y ahora mismo estás tan por detrás que a ver quién coño aguanta algo, chicos. A ver quién coño lo saca adelante esto. Yo me llamo Sigüito Salas. Sí, sí está Vector. De hecho ya está en Los Ángeles Inspired. Ya está entrenando y demás.
Yep. And we all know Slowbro is pretty powerful, you know.
Very true.
Has some great stats, especially for a Gen 1 Pokemon. So even if they do Slowbro, they will potentially still be the kings.
That's
Perfect.
evolution.
Yeah, and it doesn't have bro in the name, so that's why I was like, well, it's not all that relevant, is it? So I'll work on it. Try and figure out some Pokemon references to make.
I'm sure you have so many.
Yeah, and that was just that one didn't work even a little bit.
I got it. I got what
apologize,
you're going for. I thought it was.
Yeah,
I think
like
you're
there was a
being too harsh
theory
on
there,
yourself.
but I just didn't quite hit it, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like KT with this composition here in this game. There is a theory there, I'm pretty sure, but it did not quite work out. This is one of the issues, right, of Zoe. I feel like you really do need to craft a composition around her, and the Wukong Sivir not really fitting that bill. I think I really do like having a strong 4-1 with a Zoe composition, so the Yorick works. Outside of that,
Hostias.
great sidestep there from Gideon, just wanders out of the way of that Tempered Fate. And casting now has a Cyrilda's.
Los gritos no es que sean el lápiz más afilado del estuche. Ya puede ser, ¿eh? Pero tampoco podemos decir que sea un buen momento para Katie, ¿no? De la temporada. Ahí van, ¿no? La LPL el viernes, Candoterio.
Effort is going to find him. Cuz was thinking about going over that wall, decides against it.
This is the thing with LeBlanc, it's just, what is the answer? When you can just, especially with a composition like this, there's no Nautilus you can ult LeBlanc and then...
Porque son los dos grupos, Vextor. O sea, Katie es el último del grupo de los buenos y los bros son el primero del grupo de los malos, ¿sabes? Por eso juegan el play-in. Los 4 primeros del grupo de los buenos ya están clasificados y el quinto del de los buenos y del primero al tercero es, ¿no? Del grupo de los malos juegan el play-in. Tipo LPL, sí. No creo que los arrasan, ¿eh? Cuidado, Gideon, que aguanta bastante. La definitiva del bardo aparece Teddy. 1-0 y huele a Nashor. ¿Qué coño es eso, Leos, tío? Se pegaron... Hubo un árbitro karateca en la Copa de Perú. Entró un espontáneo y el árbitro le pegó un patadón de karate en el pecho. Get Perú, ¿eh? Qué puta locura, ¿eh? Pues tiene pinta, chicos, de que Katie es del grupo de los malos. No como los brositos que vienen Prime.
Has a lot of finesse to it. It's not the easiest to play. It's not super straightforward. The way they approach this, the setup they have around this Baron, at no point do they overcommit. At no point do they force too hard. It's a matter of finding code. And as soon as you get a jungler, it makes everything easier because you know there's no smite. And then the rest of them just continuously get poked down, but never step too far. They know there's no immediate threat onto them. With the Wukong down, the engage isn't there. It's only a sleepy trouble bubble that connects. Would be a problem, but they just keep dodging away, and now Dragon spawning at 15 would be that Ocean Soul. Gideon has GA and is feeling himself.
Yeah, he is just going to dash into 3 people. Magical Journey gets you, Cuz and Effort all out of there, or does it? Oh, Cocoon just barely going to go wide. But the bros, they push them all the way away from this Dragon Pit. They should be able to guarantee themselves an Ocean Soul. And I don't know how the bros lose from here with the style that they've been playing, as there is another Mimic Distortion. If that chain had landed, I think BDD just pops like a balloon.
For sure. And also the Banshee's picked up by Roma, so just no recourse. When you go in like that, you land a Sleepy Trouble Bubble, it just breaks the spell shield. They don't want to have to go for a full actual 5v5. It's just this poking and prodding that they're doing so well. They're moving now towards the Dragon. Ocean Soul will just make things even more difficult.
And Roma should be putting his Magi's together immediately after this straight goes down. Teddy going to help Gideon out here momentarily, and Casting going to come on over as well, do his shift, as that is just a free Ocean Soul over to the bros. No way that KT could contest it.
And it's kind of rare that we see picks like Nico or the Elise go Mikhail's, but I think it's such a good buy here, because this has been the one ability that Pro have been dodging extremely well, but is an actual cause for concern, is that Zoe sleep.
Bueno, estamos hablando de 10k ya, ¿eh? Tío, es que, de verdad, es una de esas partidas que para Katie se tiene que sentir súper frustrante, ¿no? O sea, simplemente vas viendo cómo te van encerrando en tu base, cómo cada vez hay más diferencia, no puedes forzar ninguna fight positiva, te van atracando y ya está. No hay LPL, no, Beatis, solo hay a partir del viernes LPL.
At least Siva is pretty good at dealing with Baron minions, but not as good at dealing with all of this as he's trying to play some DDR, but misses out on that last one as the Shock Blast just halves his health bar.
Madre de Dios, qué barbaridad.
So pretty happy for him that he keeps himself alive here as Romer is splitting on that bottom side. Perfect trying to deal with him for the moment. This war of attrition.
¿Qué se juegan? Pues ir a playoff, Beatis. Lo hemos contado antes. El primero del grupo de los buenos. Segundo, o sea, primero, segundo y tercero del grupo de los malos juegan por las dos últimas plazas en playoffs. That's all. La primera ronda de la LPL es el viernes a las 8 de la mañana, ¿vale? Viernes 8 de la mañana, EDG contra NIP. Después Rayito contra Invictus. Y ya el sábado son... Hostias. Partidas de... Sábado y domingo son partidas de LPL normal. A playoffs. Madre.
They can't fight because they lose. They don't even get a chance to lose a fight. Oh no! They're just getting harassed down. They try and go for a pick on a Teddy and it just ends up flopping because it's an edge.
Pues gladioleados,
Still had his flash on top of that, so just completely safe from the play.
Namgung already getting some Mikhail's value as well. You can see that's on cooldown.
Yeah.
Oh man, so mid inhibitor, it fell. They did manage to keep their top inhibitor turret alive.
Y si todo es BO5 ya lo que queda. Playoffs son siempre BO5, chicos.
Done here for perfect. That's item number 3. But I mean, you look at the other side of the rift, and Teddy is sitting on like a luxury BF sword as well as 4 items already done. Yeah. He's about to hit a flame horizon against Jiu, which I think is likely not going to happen because now Siva just like starts hitting these super minion waves.
It's still crazy how much farm he has.
Yeah, ahead of the clock by like 5 minutes here as well. Like, it's crazy.
Ezreal doesn't soak up farm nearly as easily as picks like Siva, so he's been doing some big work there. Gideon is also 70 CS up in the jungle. Casting also just finished his Cyclo sword. They are so strong right now.
Yeah. This is pretty ridiculous. 11,000 gold. They could just bring their wallets down on
okay.
top of AT, and I think that we would be going to a game number 4 with a bro match point, as even the Maiden just getting taken out, not able to run.
Run!
She won't get up. There's the audacious charge. Shock Blast just hits a corpse. Perfect. Not gonna have access to that ultimate for the next little while. Oh, there is the forbidden book.
Finally.
Es que el Rayo sería capaz de sacar un mapilla a Shifter. Yo de verdad creo que el Rayo a Shifter le gana. Fácil, además, una serie. Es lo que yo creo, Sinceramente. No está el pintor, ¿no?, en la lista de T1 para los playoffs. Pero bueno, lo pueden poner, creo, en cualquier momento igualmente, ¿eh? Así que, who knows. Yo te digo, Fénix, que habían muchas predicciones de los caster que estaba bastante even, ¿eh? El KT contra Bro. Los brositos no venían mal, ¿eh? El tema es que les está costando mucho cerrar, pero porque están haciendo la de jugar sobre seguro. Intentar minimizar opciones de cometer errores. Porque si la lían los bros, te hace 1v9 la Sivir, ¿eh? Probablemente. Están jugando una partida muy, muy seria, ¿eh? Sin cometer errores. ¡Broco! ¡Hostia! ¡No, por Dios! ¡BDD, que tienes flash! ¿BDD? Vaya drogadón, señores. No me lo puedo creer, ¿eh? Pues ya estaría, ¿no?
as the Bros continue here, and they outrange them. They can layer so much poke in. Every one of these shock blasts is so deadly. True Shot Barrage comes over yet again as Roma has to flash away because he's already dead. Roma goes back in as he finds the chains, and Teddy is arcane shifting forward. Down goes the bottom lane. Perfect is on the fountain, just waiting for game number 4 as the Bros crush Kate.
Pues ya estaría, señores. Ahí está. Muy, muy bien. GEN.G. Si gana en la liga con las regalías, liquida la casa. No, ya lo habíamos dicho, tío. Si de Lion lo que hubo fue cada vez cobró menos. Entraron muchos otros creadores y a mí me bajaron. Así que todo lo contrario. Hay otra chance si pierden, es Maquillo. Los que no tienen otra chance son los que juegan mañana. Quien pierda el CRX Non-Sim se acaba su temporada también. BDD. ¿Me está llevando la pasta, Jarvan? No lo sé, preguntarle a él. Voy a mear, porque como no me he levantado en la pausa...
Yeah, not a massive amount of damage.
No. Does have that reset potential though, and the thralls. One of the changes they did most recently to Lissandra is they included like the intelligence of the thralls. They made it so like they won't just stop following you if you walk through a brush.
Well, that's good. And
they don't stand still just when they get in range of you. They would do this thing where they like get in range.
I remember that. Yeah,
and just stand still and then explode. Now they don't do that anymore. So.
You really needed to make sure that you had some excess CC to lock people up after their teammates had died.
Which, to be fair, KT do have this game.
Yeah, that's what I'm
necessary.
Thinking. This feels like an old-school Lissandra type draft where you can just kind of get CC for days. Not to mention the fact that Ashe was always pretty good alongside Lissandra for maximizing thrall damage with the fact that you can slow them down perpetually.
Oh, I thought you were going to say for lore reasons.
And lore reasons as well,
yeah.
Which is also very, very important. We haven't actually done the Ashe or Lissandra lore on the broadcast yet, have we? We really got stuck on Nautilus for a long time. Then we did Mordekaiser for a while.
There was just so much depth.
Yeah, there was a lot of content. We needed
just so much so deep.
Yeah,
right?
It was quite deep, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Once he was dropped to the ocean in Bilgewater. To the bottom of the ocean, one could say. And he should not have used all of those, the money that was all cursed and all that sort of stuff. I can barely remember. We need to do another episode so I can get a refresher.
Clearly did not watch Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Tears of the Black Pearl, because that told me everything I need to know about cursed money.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably figure it out. I mean, that was the original. That was the original and the best, you know? Yep. At the height of Pirates of the Caribbean. That's all right. Casting and Perfect just fighting against one another here towards his top side. Right now, the only lane that the Bros have an advantage in. But as I say that, it is taken away.
Gideon challenging again. And I feel like he's been doing a lot of this in this series. There hasn't been a ton of ganking from either jungler, but Gideon has been trying to make issues for...
Oh, the flash in from Namgung. Of course he's going to go for that play. The beat drops, but Gideon is able to get himself out of the way, able to outrange the Q from BDD as well. Very luckily. Finds himself a snipe, but that is going to be a bunch of buttons pressed. Now I'm going to Gideon without their flashes now.
That was chaotic. That was very aggressive. Bro were ready just to jump but BDD playing the Sandra can easily get over the wall, and it became a little bit of a...
Barbaridad, no es coñete.
Bro's comp very good at going...
Ahí en el pasillo, abierta la ventana del baño, y hace ya frío, Aquí no hace frío porque estando todo cerrado, el calor del PC te mueve la temperatura bastante. Quiero ponerme la otra escena, porque es que es lamentable, de verdad, lo de que la LCK siga teniendo el overlay antiguo, Es que de verdad... ¿Cómo lo veríais, gente, un quinto mapismo, Yo no lo vería mal, llegado a este punto. Un fifth mapism no lo veo mal, Fifth mapism. Yo me llamo Perfectito Salas.
To threaten with that pocket of vision, maybe move Gideon in the end, though, I think Gideon just needs to play for 6, and then you go bot.
Mucho que salimos de su país de Gora.
Just kind of drop on top of them. See whether you can lock up some kills. If they can get some cooldowns before that, then all the better.
I think at this point, G and Effort need to
A ver, un quinto mapa para que se alargue esto.
As fun as it is to permanently push, hit the enemy tower.
Y que justo sea quinto mapismo into por maníacos, yo lo veo bastante bien,
Whether that game plan is going to change. Gideon half a level until that man drop becomes available. Teddy and Nam going back in this lane together.
La semana que viene es la Final Four de la LES, por cierto, ¿eh? Pero es que este año podemos tener un nuevo campeón de Worlds, hombre. Creo que hay papeletas. Hay papeletas.
Gideon will get 6 off these Raptors. Are looking to set up for you. You can see Cuz immediately moving over to contest.
Yep, they are pinging it out. There's now Roma spots Cuz moving in, and Gideon does hit that level 6. Got the Ashen Pursuit though, and there's the Frozen Tomb. Level 6 available here as we do have the ultimate thrown down by Roma, but the Q misses from Cuz, and that will allow Roma to escape.
Qué puta barbaridad.
That's one thing. You are pretty bulky as the lock, and the fact that you can reactivate
300 de oro arriba, ¿eh? No pinta mal.
Even with the help of the Lee Sin, but the dodge and the Sonic Wave is pretty good. The slow as well from the ultimate, helping Roma get out. Now, they will take the Dragon as their consolation prize. But Gideon has hit level 6 now, and I think this is really going to shape how G and Effort have to.
Se acabo de mirar.
There is cleanse on G at least, which helps a bit in terms of dealing with the pressure.
Le ha cambiado Karasu el viernes por Doad. O sea, es que... Voy todos los días, tío. El viernes, por maníacos.
Like that's the main thing. It's like cleanse isn't really going to drastically help against a hook shot.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think
you around a little.
Yeah, there's still a lot of threat in place. Right now, though, we see Effort moving to the top side of the map. Grubs are coming up soon. This feels a little bit dangerous.
Me parecen bandiles. A ver, no diría que si no gana... Si no gana T1, no creo que el siguiente en la lista pueda ser los pandas, ¿eh? Quizá lo hace Friobi por fin, después de no hacer nada en todo el año, por fin. No, fueron al first stand, pero amaron, ¿no? Rolster ha denunciado al Chocas por enseñar 5 segundos de GTA. Hostia. ¿Y?
Teddy realizes that Gio is not going to be catching him underneath this turret, and Dancing Grenade just clears out the wave and he goes home. So often it's the GEN who has the edge in these 1v1 matchups because...
A ver, puede ganar Gen.G, puede ganar D+ como en la eSport World Cup, hay muchas opciones.
And forces Teddy to back here. Cleanse down as well means could be a little bit vulnerable later. Now, Gideon, he's locked in on his grubs. Oh yeah. That's going to move in though. Scry's Bloom is going to spot out exactly where Gideon is, but the controller does give away the information as to Cuz and Effort's location. I feel like they want to get perfect in here as well. If they can layer the CC from BDD with the Ambassador, it could be really devastating. Well now, remember Namgung thinking about going for an angle here, only level 4 on the Camille, casting not quite with his Nabar in the position that they want it, so it should be 2 grubs. Oh, Effort! Over the KT as Effort is going to face check. Man, that was a lot of damage from the Q out of Gideon, but the beat drop does come down. Slows up this Pantheon as KT.
Madre mía, tú. Poco de aurismo, ¿no? Me atrevería a decir. Aunque igualmente ha sido 2 por 1 en Kevins. Y mirad Teddy, ¿eh? Free farm. Querían que le cargara a Diplas y que Showmaker elija a Swain. Claro, tiene que jugarlo en el Mundial. No sé si lo jugará. Voy a poner que si voy el viernes y quiere Jordi o Backstrike ir hoy, para no ir yo 5, ¿no? Y que ellos no vayan.
feel like that was in the era of they were a bit samey. I think was that Pierce Brosnan?
Remember? Yes, it was.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
it was the one with the giant. Wasn't it the one with the giant space laser? And he's like,
that's Austin Powers, isn't it?
No. Would you believe? And he's surfing on like the. It's like the is it the hood of the car, like the boot of the car, and he's surfing because the lasers melt in the ice?
Oh, yeah.
Y el Alec, por cierto, estos últimos días mucho Prime Random, pues la verdad que sí.
Like the Arctic or something.
Es el Prime Random.
A land that is icy, but not Iceland.
Yeah.
It was ice. No, it wasn't Iceland.
Could have been. Was it Antarctica? I don't know. It's one of the ends of the world that have the cold bits, I'm sure.
It was a bit more of like, I feel like the modern ones would be more serious, and that one was a bit like, you know, you had like the invisible car and the like the laser chair and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. It was very hard for them to do better than GoldenEye. It was just so good.
Okay, Eclipse Spike for Cuz. Saw this item get buffed, and actually, Perfect and Cuz gonna have that one item Eclipse Spike, which is a lot of power represented. So.
Pero cómo se mueve el Loque, tío, es hipnótico, O sea, yo cuando veo al Loque en pantalla moverse y dasear y tirar los... Como que se ve muy fluido, tío. Se nota que es campeón muy nuevo. Vaya trade que le acaba de pegar, No son malos, estos top laners. Cuidadito, Roamer. ¡Ay! ¡Flechismo! No le ha dado a Roamer. Si le llegan a pegar... O sea, imagínate que se ponen a divear y justo le da la flecha, tío. ¡Ay, perfect! Perfecteado. Si ganan los pandas dejarán de ser igual Legends, se llaman solo Legends.
And I know that we like to call the Lock Ultimate Poltergeist, but Purgatory really fit for where Perfect was positioned in that top lane. Nowhere to go, just no chance.
At least to end it.
Increíble.
At least he found his way out of Purgatory.
That's true. Via the Death Chamber, but there is only one plate remaining there on that top side.
Only Legends, ¿no? All Legends, Voy a llamar All Gamers. A ver, a mí, sinceramente... Los pandas se llaman... Por esto, vamos a abrir esto de la LES, ¿no? Si los pandas se llaman All Gamers, pero todavía tienen el logo del panda, me sirve. ¡Ojo! Querido Toade, lo han hecho ahí. Justo, La LES. O sea, por detrás está chula porque se queda como blanquito esto. Con el contraste queda guay. Bueno, te has ido, pero ¿qué has visto? El primer mapa, ¿no? Está malito. Después del primer mapa, pues bueno. Ha pasado esto, Pues sí, tercios.
Having a big advantage in this matchup this series. You know, Perfect had such a strong start to the regular season, the LCK back in round 1 and 2, and right now it's just kind of being angled a little bit by casting.
¿Qué tal, gato del grasa? ¿Cómo estamos? Sí, sí, Roamer es español, se llama Romero,
And that's devastating here because he is going to be dominating side lanes.
I feel like Fed Nar is so annoying. Oh, we might get a fight here.
Potentially, Epic is a
No,
target.
es como... Ya no usa tanto el rojo y amarillo, usan el... rojo y rojo más oscuro, ¿no?
Fighting for an objective right now, but if they're contesting this heavily, you could find an angle. He's actually just walking over, has a TP to go back if he needs, and this is where KT need to be careful. They aggress right now. When Nar is here already, they could lose out far more than they want. It's a fight over the Scuttle Crab. Yeah, I'm not sure this more importantly than Dragons. Why are we investing this much? Well, BDD is going to...
Hostia, qué liadón. Creo que lo gana KT, Porque... ¡Ay, Dios, la R, cabrón! Es que esa R, yo lo digo, la gente le criticaba mucho ahí todo el rato al pobre Mirwin y demás. Es muy jodido, gente, dar esas Rs, por no decir que es imposible, Muy jodido, por no decir que es imposible.
this massive encore.
¡Ay, mi madre el bicho!
BDD self-ulted, then Cuz just kicked them through. It was like the straight line of the encore into the straight line of the kick. The Sandra is last on the list. You know, you want to make a list of targets, last. Dead last. In fact, there's a sizable gap between 4th and 5th in terms of which...
Tiene pinta de quinto mapismo, sí.
I don't know. I think Ambassador is also a rough one to go for just because she can immune a bunch of stuff or at least be untargetable for a bunch of stuff. So just hit anyone else.
Yeah.
All the other three, great choice.
Yeah, I just... It's a fact that BDD flashed, and they were like, you know what? Let's still go for Lissandra. Like, they could have gone for Lee Sin, they could have gone for maybe the Seraphine.
Yeah.
And it did counteract them because this composition is quite momentum-based. We've seen with the lock before.
No sé si va a dar quinto mapismo, igualmente.
It's only worse as well because
Es que es lo que os dije el otro día, tío, con el loque. A mí me gusta el loque con estas compos porque tienes CC para que pueda entrar gratis, tío. Tienes la ulti del NAR, tienes aunque sea un lock de CC del Pantheon, tío. Simplemente la W del Pantheon, la R de la Camille, tío. Facilitan mucho que el loque pueda entrar. La cosa es que veo bien a la Lissandra. Considero que está bien contra el loque. Muy fácil CCarlo.
hey, unless they get the frozen tomb and the claw out of him, you know, then you could probably do it. Maybe?
I mean, yeah, but
maybe just don't.
Why would he use both of those unless you're diving onto him?
That is a very good point. What if you're faking it? You know, you
maybe that needs to be game
you did it.
All
right, Cuz hits a Q. That's cool.
Fluffit going for the bot lane and switch to him, but I think it'd probably just be easier just to kill Effort and G.
Increíble, pero cierto.
You might do that by accident if that is your game plan anyway.
Okay, I think they're just gonna secure the scuttle here and then move down towards Dragon. And then they want to go for Herald Jet when Dragon's in 10 seconds would be third for them. Massive. BDD picks up this top wave and then should make his way down. Roma has TP ready to go in. In terms of item spikes, the 2 Eclipses from KT, pretty major at this point of the game. We do have Teddy and G who close their second item, not quite there, but now the Dragon's being rushed here by Bro. Can Cuz get there in time?
Yeah, Cuz not going to be able to stop this.
I think they've kind of missed a trick there. This was a fight that was so favored towards KT. You had more summoners, you were not really ahead in gold, but if you found the right setup in terms of engage in a great spot, and they kind of just gave it over for free.
Yeah, it wasn't really what you wanted, as Teddy is going to get tagged by a Q here. Deadly Flourish hits onto Effort.
Yeah, the Eclipse spikes as well. I think a lot was favored there, and they kind of just missed the mark. Now the arrow might hit the lock.
Oh,
no me lo puedo creer, tío.
Gladiol
Gladiolismo del bueno por Jeta y por Mau. La mamaste, Gladiolo. Hostia, pues cuidado como te empiece a dar los Pablitos clavó un clavito, Otra vez la garra. Lock de CC. Pajón y al cajón. ¡Ojo, ¡Brosazo! ¡Ay, el brosazo gordo! ¡Ay, el brosazo gordo, hermano! Para que veáis el tiempo que hace el loque, chicos. ¡Cuidado, Muchacho. Ahora nos volvimos a ilusionar. Esto es puro gladiolismo. Y los van a gladiolear. El maulismo. A las 11 por detrás ya hay salismo, ¿no? Mira, Romer, tío.
That clap was so cute. Just like a little polite golf clap.
Just showing that he had use of his hands for a little while he waits for the death timer.
That's the appreciation you want.
And now the Bros are just going to try and build up that gold lead yet again. As you can see here with the gold graph, it is making its way up to that lead that they had slightly earlier on before that devastating loss in that team fight around the Dragon.
Hey, Teddy also, instead of the...
Romer Maula lo quiere en la Lexi, hombre. Sí, hombre. ¿Y qué más? Tercios, ¿estás insinuando Koi Romer? ¿Eso es lo que estás pidiendo, Tercios? ¿Qué hace la gente pidiendo Koi Romer, chicos? Que alguien me lo explique, por Dios, O Koi Cini incluso,
Will they be able to take this turret? Looks like not yet. As KT will now back away. Did have that dot on it, but it is not going to quite be enough. I think it's on its last legs.
The point where you start to feel like a little rough about the fact that KT gave over that last dragon for free, because they could have been staring down Soul in 2 minutes, and instead they're in a position where if they play the fight, even if they get the dragon, if they mess up the fight and lose Baron, it could be super costly, and they don't get the reward of an Infernal Soul.
The big deal. Roman out, just going to catch this wave, as they did manage to deal with that outer turret. Going to really lessen this gold lead, only 1,000, and at 20 minutes, that is not going to be a big deal at all. KT's composition, as it comes further and further online, it's going to be very, very dangerous.
Yo, lo de que el viernes a las 8 AM empiece la LPL me tiene bailando,
Teddy going to be dash cannoned on.
Teddy?
There's that Ring of Frost as well. BDD not going to go too aggressive. Doesn't throw down the Frozen Tomb, as that is cleansable.
I honestly think this showed a lot of...
Lo he visto, tío, lo he visto, tío. Dicen, un Draven de Mauro Gari.
I think there's a lot of players who would have just cleansed flashed immediately and then ended up with nothing for that dragon fight in a minute. It's still a big pickup from KT, don't get me wrong, to be in that flash, but he says something, oh no, perfect.
Oh dear, he face checks. There's a Hextech ultimatum as Cuz looking to try and come in and help him out, but Gideon's going to land right on top of an arrow. Public execution in the flash, gets perfect out of there.
¿Cómo?
BDD, he has to do the same thing. The claw is denied though, and he has to self-ult to try and...
Se viene el brosismo, chicos. Yo creo que puede no haber vuelta atrás. Ojito con Kuzmalo, con avaricia. No sé si rascan algo. ¡Oh! Perfectito, Salas. Dios santo de mi vida, tú. Pero en mapas en la LPL estaría bien, ya que estamos, Anthony. Co-illusion, el Rodgo. Ya que estamos.
Get CC'd so you can't follow the course, self-ults, because what else can you do? But they're there, immediately take him out. Cuz looks like to see if he can find something, but there's just nothing really there when he's going in alone with perfect chunks and BDD dead. Oh, now, Bro, once again, getting control of the area first, but this time a much more confident control. Before, Last Dragon, they kind of snuck it. This one, they're just getting control of the area, and I'm getting in trouble there. Has to flash away.
¡Hostia! Tazo gordo. Qué bonito que lo acaba de hacer Effort. Qué bonito que lo acaba de hacer Effort. Pues esto te da dragón, ¿eh? Ojalá le den el rayito, estoy de acuerdo, chicos. Hay que confiar. Confíen. Lo que sí que decepciona lastimosamente es el caduquism. En el Corvus SK es Supa quien tira la E a la ulti S con el Real en una de las cazadas. Bueno, more or less, no se podría decir. ¿Qué pasa si el Rayito pierde? Pues que termina su temporada, chicos.
Yeah, also these two items did get buffed for East.
Oh, okay, that's a jump scare on the Cuz. Let's just check. Is he okay? Has he had a heart attack? I almost did. All right, now he is okay. Can confirm. But that was that once was
okay.
In, now he's gone.
Obliterated, honestly, so quickly there. That's kind of the goal of pros, sort of just jumping you and beating you down. Very quick kills, but not enough for them to go for the Baron here. It is once again the Huni Baron, so a little bit scary. This happens so quickly, and it's just really not much you can do. This is kind of what I was talking about with the Lee Sin. Normally you have so much safety, and you're able to evade all of these attempts in your life. You cannot into this composition with the Camille, who can just ult you.
Yeah. And now Roma has his 2 items completed. Storm Surge and the Lich Bane have been done. And so yeah, that burst that we were talking about, grabbing some of these purgatory kills.
Es que Kuz es malo con avaricia, pero con auténtica avaricia. Ya lo decía Quentin LOL. Es inevitable, chicos. Father than hungry. Father than hungry, no hay más.
But it sounds crazy to say, but I think Jiwoo will start to really shred and feel comfortable on 5 items, but so late in this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
These, like, with what he has now,
He
at
still
least
does good damage.
Yeah. And if the bro like engages on someone other than the Ashe, I think they'll be surprised with the amount that Jiu will be able to dish out in these fights. All right, Gideon gonna get tagged by a Q. Beat drop does come down here as well. Getting a bit of a taste of KT's keep away that they're able to play here with this composition. As Jiu standing up, I was a little bit scared of his positioning there, but is able to just clear out the wave. Deadly Flourish is gonna go slightly wide. Buzz clears out vision himself. So KT, I think their eyes are on this Baron until this Drake is up. And then that all-important Infernal Soul and availability here to really help them with their damage problems. That's perfect. Thinking about trying to find an angle towards casting here. Gets himself a bit of a shield.
We're fighting over the Scuttle Crab because...
Oh yes, that's what we always do. Some volleys are coming on through here as possible engage towards Roamer as BDD
Cuidado aquí,
does leave the rest of his
Ojito con Cucito, comunica que lo han pillado. Se ha dado la vuelta, pero es malo con avaricia. Roamer muerto. Ojo, Jiwoo, Ojo, Jiwoo. ¡Ay, que lo han enganchado! Nah, están muertos. Lo gana Katie, Catazo gordo, Catazo gordo. Quieren darle un quinto mapismo a jeta directa, chicos. ¡Vamos! ¿Cuándo juega mi bilibilazo? Diría que la semana que viene. Madre de Dios, la que les ha caído a estos vividores,
Yeah, actually, the Baron did the most damage to Geo out of everyone there, and he almost died.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Huni Baron.
Yeah.
A lot of threat.
Huni needs to be, like, he just needs to calm down. The Baron did get taken, as we saw there. Thank you very much, Jonas Strong, for that. And BDD has himself a Zhonya's as well. Very important item for Lissandra.
Purgatory little thing on the ground is still there.
Oh, no. Roma didn't get it.
He's pinged on his way. He's going for it. He's going for it. Did you get it? I think he got it.
Wait, Jonah Strong.
Yeah, he picked it up now.
Okay,
so a little bit stronger ultimate, but I think you need a lot stronger ultimate. If you look at the items, right, both 80 carries finished the 3rd item, and then Teddy picked up a crit cloak and a longsword. Jiu picked up a BF sword and a pickaxe at the back of that.
My goodness.
Look at that steepness.
Pero Anthony.
It is, the bros, they keep getting to like the 2.5k mark.
Este gol de Supa que no habéis visto con 3K. Es increíble, tío. No lo había visto yo tampoco esa, Lo ganan, ¿no? Hostias. Estalló. Pero bueno, ya la Serafín te rema una locura, gente. Ya la Serafín te rema una verdad,
One more minion going to be there. That is going to be the inner turret falling down. Still, it does cost them the one member that didn't have Baron to begin with.
I will say, though, Cuz being down, Dragon being up, this is a situation Bro could play for to set up. They actually hit Jiwoo there. TP coming in from the Gnar. This is still a precarious one for Bro, but they can get the Dragon here and deny Soul from KT. This could be a massive win.
Teleport back here from Perfect. BDD doesn't have his teleport available. He's just picking up these cinders, and it looks like KT will just give up this dragon.
Madre de Dios.
To have it, not liking the position they were at on the map.
This ult from Perfect, interrupting the hook shot, just really shuts down Amgo. Nothing he can do in that situation. The arrow comes in.
Crazy Citizen.
So this isn't exactly easy to go for, but the self-ult from BDD was beautiful. But they just go a little bit too far in the chase here from Cuz. Gets stunned on the tower. The follow-up is there. And then a bit of an overstep considering how soon Dragon was to spawning. You could have just secured that Infernal Soul for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Now another 4.5 minutes before you even have the chance to go for it.
Oh, split pushing Ashe and the split pushing Gnar. BDD is going to answer said Gnar. Somehow BDD has done the most damage in the game as well after we spent most of the game talking about how Lissandra doesn't do that much damage. He also hasn't gone for the Imperial Mandate, which I kind of find interesting.
Yeah, it was weird because Imperial Mandate came into the game, the new version, and Lissandra gained a ton of popularity. But then we got it in the LCK, and at first, they weren't building it. They were just building normal Lissandra. Yeah. And then we saw people start to build the Imperial Mandate, but there's definitely some who still go this build now. Jiwoo's just picked up Infinity Edge. He doesn't have sums right now, so a little bit vulnerable, but doing insane damage right now. If you can get target access, you can get the flurry up and just auto attack, he will shred. I would love to pick up a defensive on top of that, whereas Teddy, you know, he's nearly got his last Swiss Brighton completed, and then he'll really have a lot of power.
Yeah, he's been deep in the box.
Cuidado la cazadita,
Deadly Flourish is going to go wide. The arrow connects. There's the encore as well. The chain CC will put this lock under. And KT, there's not a whole lot to get off the back end of that, but they might be able to take down a turret or two.
So much setup, so much CC and pick potential, and just disrespected by Roma. Lock normally so hard to punish. They find a way to do it now. They'll have casting push here in the silent. No TP from him. But look at this flank that's threatened by Namgoon. We've seen what a flank can hit, do from him before. But I think the opportunity has passed. They'll give up the mid lane inhibitor.
Yeah.
Qué barbaridad.
Yeah, the top lane.
Everything is throwable, eh.
The trade. KT is at least able to collect, but you were talking about that inhibitor going down. There it goes, 1.5 minutes on the next Baron.
Such an insane angle. If casting had TP and could just TP over to assist, but unfortunately not able to make that play happen.
I think Namgoon has been in that brush for forever.
He's liking it there. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, decides instead to go back. There is that Imperial Mandate, so 4th item.
It's a big spike as well. You know, the Imperial Mandate's so cheap, but offers so much power for the Sand.
¿Qué es eso, Leos?
Just lets you cheat to get a build completed early. And here, Roma,
Ahora ponen uno de los leaks, tío.
doesn't have time to flash. Once one bit of CC hits, even with Merc Treads, it doesn't matter. You are dead.
I really love the play there from KT. Not like not deciding to skimp out on
Lo que tendrían que haber dicho.
And the public execution all go down to give themselves access to that mid lane.
A Seeker's Arm Guard.
That is sick, actually.
This is such a good buy.
Lo que tendrían que haber dicho es. Vale, lo sacamos en disco.
And just that stasis so valuable against things like a Camille, like a Pantheon, a Lock.
It reminds you of back in the day, right, with Stopwatch. The fact that that
Remember
built into GA is just so crazy to think about.
And we used to have the rune that would give you Stopwatch.
Yeah.
And everyone ran it, and you'd
Es un flow criminal.
Stopwatch.
The perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. That was so funny, honestly.
Oh.
Not the greatest watching.
And now, like, watching 80 carries build it completely off theme just to have an arm guard so that they get the stopwatch, it just shows you how broken it was.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a great idea.
A ver, es un vividor y ya.
The next fight could be the last in this game. 1 minute until that Infernal Soul is available once again for KT. But
It's
the Baron
interesting that when
minds first.
defensive items are too OP, they just turn them into mage items. Like, remember when Banshee used to be the tank item and everyone, both teams would buy it? I'm like, you know what? Just give it to the mages.
Yeah. Hey, at least the 80 champions got GA. You know, they got that one.
That's true. That's fair.
Remember, that used to just be a defensive item as well. It's all right. KT back in this mid lane. They've got super minions. Arrow is going to get the flash out of Roma. He doesn't want to risk it this time. But now perfect. Public execution picks up the Camille, and she gets pulled back. The Hextech ultimatum is one that KT are very happy to go with. Another flash forward from Giu, and that may just spell the end of the
Esto lo reman, eh. No hay forma de ganar a una combo con Serafín, chicos. Se han ido completamente gladioleados. Crazy fucking shit.
We always knew it was going to 5 games. You may not have believed us, but we told you that at the start of the day.
We did. This was written.
Gladioleados, eh.
KT, they knew what the company needed to do. They see a target, they see a target, they kill a target.
Increíble. Pues Gladiolet, ¿no? Vaya pedazo de banger, eh. Os lo digo ya, eh. Pues tiene pinta de que tiene que ser algo de Sonacanto. Hombre, claro, vas a, si no llevas Exhaust en la Yumi, estás literalmente trolling, ¿no? ¿Cómo no vas a llevar Exhaust, tú? Es mandatory. Qué dolor de cabeza tengo, chicos, eh. Día muy duro.
And he does have that cleanse as expected, so does Teddy, but you have the double combat summoners from the
¿Qué tal, Ture?
which obviously helps out.
Yeah, Effort is going to spend some time off Jew. Obviously, you and me going to be allowing that health bar to not really mean much of anything at all. As casting in perfect in a Shuriman matchup, at least there's that. Like it's on theme.
Habrá que ver esto porque vaya tela.
But it's not quite Nasus versus Renekton.
We're so close.
Yeah, we were. Just not quite able to get there. As I'm very intrigued as to what Gideon can do on this Zed. I feel like he's hovered it a few times so far this season. And has never actually pulled the
Sí, sí, líricos, yo tomo de eso.
Got a decent,
Yo tomo de eso, tío.
amount of it before when Trundle was like really heavy meta.
Yep.
And I know Canyon would play a good amount to good success.
Certainly has been a fan of this one in the past.
A ver, pero Leo, ¿qué me estás contando, tío? Que la gente haga lo que quiera, tío. Si te quieres comprar el GTA, cómpratelo. ¿Qué más da? Aquí nadie va a juzgar a nadie por lo que se compre, tío. Si quiera comprarse el GTA porque le apetece jugarlo y lo disfrute, tío, pues que se lo compre. Yo no lo voy a hacer. Si te apetece jugar al GTA, cómpratelo. ¿Qué me estás contando, tío? Ni que te tuviera yo que dar permiso. El gameplay se ve medio pocho, no tengo ni idea, Ture, tío. No lo vas a jugar, no he jugado nunca un GTA ni. Al que me da igual. Es un juego que a mí pues me suda bastante. Entiendo que es muy popular y que a la gente le gusta, pero es que a mí hay muchas otras cosas que me apetece jugar primero. Grande Sergio, un poquito de remo mañanero, nunca está de más, ¿eh? Muchas gracias. Qué raro que aún no hayan gladioleado. En línea juegas la Ani con la Nico porque le copias el rango de autoataque, que es altísimo. Así que facilito.
This game, getting an early lead will be very important. Now, Gideon's fishing for perfect here. Remember, Zed has that execute damage on the passive, so a lot of threat on a tower. Yeah. He thinks twice about it, and it's a good call because Cuz was hanging around here.
Yeah, no information actually goes over to KT, as he doesn't walk into that ward or out of that tri-brush. As Perfect now just trying to get rid of casting here. He was successfully able to do so as far as being on KT. He got rid of casting. That did happen. But dealing with this top lane out of turret, not able to do so just yet. This Renekton is looking pretty scary. I'm going towards his bottom side. It's very low on mana. Geo and Effort just going 1-for-1 in farm is kind of exactly what you want to be doing as the Zeri and the Yuumi.
I mean, this is why, obviously, it's very different now, Zeri and Yuumi, to when it was, like, extremely strong. But one of the reasons it was so frustrating is because it would have a lot of sustain. And if you try to all in it, it would have combat sums thanks to Yuumi. So it's actually deceptively difficult to all in unless you had like a crazy kill lane and just CC'd them, stuck them down. But it means when these little passive trades come in, even though Yuumi doesn't have the sustain she used to, he was just healing up from the poke, getting rid of poke back in return. Namgun's mana is running out, and an all-in just isn't really on the cards.
And so far, the Bros have built up a little bit of an advantage, mainly in this about a wave.
Al nivel 6 a ver qué puede hacer nuestro amigo Gideon, ¿eh? Tío, lo rápido que limpia ese champion, qué barbaridad. Nuclear. ¡Ojo, Eli! Muchas gracias, Eli, por el remismo, ¿eh? Seguimos. Un día más, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Yo no sé si quieren jugar los cagamierda algún día, tío. Estaría bien, ¿no?
BD now has access to the ult, so obviously Roma gets his, which allows him to put a lot of pressure down in lane. But I think BDD having the chance to move and assist lanes, we saw him doing
baja al casante.
Making his impact known in the side lanes. He's on a champion that really is enabled by that in this game.
Because he's going to get found here by Namgung, as he does just back away from this dragon. Actually wastes a fair bit of time, got through half of that Drake. As Gideon in the mid lane shows himself. And this Trundle is just going to have to go back home. So Bro actually a lot of tempo from that. As Teddy now now actually just going to take a lot of damage from Geo and Effort, who will be able to proc some overgrowth. Not quite able to get that plate just yet. Now we'll be able to get there, as Teddy needs to be a little bit careful.
Oh, nice block.
Yep.
Deny the minion.
Extendo beam, not quite doing enough, is now Bloom and Burst from Namgung is going to hit a couple of times, but it's otherwise not going to do enough. As Gideon is on a control ward.
He's level 6,
yeah,
I don't think Cuz can contest him at all. He doesn't have the backup from his lanes. There's Prio in both lanes for BRO. And a level 6 Z is not to be tangled with.
No. And you can see Romer actually walks off to the side, is out of vision as he starts that recall. He could have been...
Well, honestly...
There was nothing that Cuz could do about that.
It is in his name.
Ah, yes. That's a very good point. Should have factored that in. But I've been kind of burnt by the fact that he did...
No parece
like the first couple of games.
Yeah.
Que ninguno de los dos equipos tenga problemas en que esto se alargue, ¿no? O sea, es como que los dos están... Ok, chicos, pues... Escalamos.
She really is. Throw bear at bad guy.
Yep. It's pretty straightforward. Level 6
Señores, escalamos.
We always see that as being an exciting point. I feel like Zeri Yumi, the ult combo, is so strong now. I think a lot of the power between the two champions is kind of budgeted there. But it's a lot of threat in the all-in. Obviously, Kai'Sa and Nico get some good power there too. But Namgung not quite level 6. Yeah,
I do feel like the Bros want to get level 6 for Namgung and then find themselves a skirmish or a fight of some kind. And try and get themselves an angle for Gideon to execute someone. Use that death mark. Make it happen there.
Grande, Joel, ¿qué tal? A ver por el rey dedito, ¿Crees que debería algún salto para adelante para pokear? Ya sé por dónde va eso, chicos. Dejar al pobre Supa en paz. Ya bastante tendrá con el maulismo del otro día. Solo podéis pensar en Koi, chicos. Ya sabemos que Supa es muy malo. Porque perdió solo. Eso es 100% cierto. Pero ya está, ¿no? Igual habría que superarlo o qué.
Yeah, so use both their ultimates, but chunked out Teddy and Namgung meant that they just definitely couldn't assist. Gideon realized he was not going to get this dragon and has to back away. Hextech into Ocean. Okay. So, means, honestly, I think 4 good options for the Soul. Chemtech Soul here, if KT get it, will be a ton of value.
Oh, it'd be ridiculous. I also think that the Bros would like it as well. I think Renekton makes a lot of use of it. Even Namgung might be able to keep himself alive a little bit better. Roma with his Molten Shield, Teddy with his Killer Instinct. There's shields everywhere. That could work. But the Bros probably just wanting to deny Drakes from now on, because KT's composition a little bit like a Juggernaut, as Cuz in a little bit of trouble. There's a great stun on a BDD. Still Namgung has to flash. I wanted to tango with this Trundle.
So rough when you get engaged.
Bueno.
Just the Trundle catches you off guard when you go into a brush, bites you, and then you have to, walk awkwardly away when the pillar comes down and forced to flash. Namgung just get out. The summoner being down is a pretty big cost.
Well, Roma back in this mid lane. About a 200 gold lead here for the Bros. That is Thornmail completed though for Perfect. Kind of feels like he's getting out of the woods as far as this matchup is concerned. With the Black Cleaver first, casting will retain a bit of relevance in this lane, being able to cut down the Cassante somewhat. But I think that it will get more and more difficult to kill as this game goes on.
They are not the best tank killers, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Enough champions though, and enough gold ahead, and you can kind of just kill anyone, but they are not terrifically well equipped to cut through the likes of Perfect.
I just want to see our first skirmish. Our first, more than 2 people fight.
Look at the vision setup that KT has on the bot side. You can see, there's the line of wards, 3 control wards to the river.
Hoy Def, no me jodáis, loco.
Jungle at the entrances. Notably, there's that ward over the wall. You can see it was just on the top left of the screen, next to the tri-brush.
Yep.
That wasn't being spotted. So, Dragon's a while away still, but any action in that area of the map will be spotted out by KT. And this makes it very hard for BRO to push through without being spotted.
There's one very important thing, though, here in this game, and that is, this is the first game that the Bros have been able to pick up triple grubs. And so Gideon, I think, is just going to be way happier.
Yep. And he
also has completed. Yeah, it does have that first item spike done already. This is a PowerPoint here for the Bros.
I mean...
Oh, in goes Geo. Pop Blossom is going to pick him up. Teddy gets exhausted, but he cleanses it.
Si se fedea la serie es GG, chicos. Si se fedea la serie es GG, Si se fedea la serie GG, lo debería matar el Zed, ¿no? ¡Hostia! Al menos es 1 por 1. Lo que pasa que perfectito Salas. Ya lo estamos viendo, ¿eh?
A lot committed there, and you can see the power of G and Effort's ultimates coming into play, but in the end it's a 1-for-1. We do see Perfect getting some value off by himself, but this is so aggressive, and Teddy just does cleanse the exhaust, doesn't
Pues
quite
crazy
have the
shit.
damage yet to cut through G and all the healing, all the shielding. Then this play, I thought G was just dead, but Gideon, instead of overcommitting for the Zeri and potentially getting CC'd on the tower, he just takes the freebie for the CC set up by his solo laners. Gold is still dead even.
The problem is where the gold is going. And the fact that Gio manages to get first blood is a huge deal here for KT.
Yeah, I will say, with every single summoner being burnt, they should probably be cautious around this next dragon. They already have a dragon in pocket. There's no huge pressure to contest it. But if you go in without those summoners, it could very easily be a bad time.
Oh yeah. Then he does have first item completed as well. Did manage to complete the Kraken Slayer.
I also think, you know, they buffed the Eclipse, the max health damage. And there's just a lot of max health on the side of KT this game.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's like a tank shredder item, but it will get some good value.
Yeah,
Pues
when
crazy
it gets
shit
to
total.
Galio and a Trundle especially, like that is their tankiness in most regards. So I agree with you. I feel like the Eclipse value will be high. Some free shoes to be collected here by Gideon as well. As he goes back, we'll see what else he can purchase as just a cheeky pickaxe on top of the rest of his build. Haven't seen too much from the Zed just yet. Did manage to get the assist of that kill onto Cuz.
So 20 seconds until that dragon. All the vision that KT had earlier in the river has either decayed or been cleared out. So it's actually
Pues ok.
an advantage in terms of setup right now. And I think KT being optimistic about approaching that area makes a lot of sense given the summoner situation we talked about.
Yep.
You can see Cuz trying to move in here, but you have to really be careful.
He's going to be able to chomp down some of these wards. Gideon going to slink back into Fog of War for the moment. Casting with a bit of control here towards his bottom side. You can see playing up against BDD pretty comfortably as he is building a lot of magic resist right now, and a Renekton does not care about that. KT have started off this dragon.
It's you playing in the banana brush to try and have some cover, but now he's potentially going to be flanked here. Just have the dash to go over the wall.
Namgun has flash. Voidseeker does come down.
Tío, qué pesado eres, tío. De verdad, Leos. Hay más equipos que Koi. Se puede hacer otras cosas que hablar de Koi y pensar en Koi, eh. Te lo prometo, eh.
But KT, I mean, they've pulled back the gold advantage now, and the door is slowly closing here on the Bros.
I think Bro...
Okay.
I think their game plan there from Gideon was just try and smite the dragon. We don't really want to fight. But I think the summoner advantage that we talked about, all they have to do is get on Jiwoo. And he doesn't have cleanse, doesn't have flash. Instead, Gideon commits for the dragon. Maybe feeling the nerves and that passive execution.
A ver, en general se tiltean menos. Yo históricamente creo que todos conocemos y hemos visto equipos coreanos que han pillado mental. Eso pasa muchas veces. Pero bueno, puede ocurrir. Could happen, guys.
Very soon. Might be a window for the Bros to find an angle, but I'm really surprised that Namgun, like, he's been so aggressive throughout this whole year, but doesn't go for the pop loss
esto es lo que hay.
like that.
Mira Jiwito.
Maybe wanting to make sure that Jiu had his skate on cooldown, but we'll never know. Hindsight's 2020, all that good stuff. BDD here just going to crash this wave towards his top side. Rift Herald has been started here by the Bros, as the Voidseeker does find Jiu, and now a teleport in from the Renekton, a possible angle here for the Bros as BDD, heroic entrance at the ready, but it looks like they're just going to give this one up. Casting is going to come out of this brush and find an angle towards Cuz. Subjugate actually already down, as there is the Pop Blossom from Namgun, but it just does nothing at all, as KT, perfect defensive play, get BDD over the top, and they will just back out, but Rift Herald does go over to the Bros, so there's at least that.
All those flashes we were talking about were actually still down a little bit longer, but still, Bro, very hesitant. Don't want to overcommit and get knocked up by the Galio ultimate. And the end result is KT will back away safely.
Lo veo bastante bien. Es que encima mirar dónde está el oro, chicos. El Zed me da la sensación de que no como que vaya a decaer instantáneamente, pero sí que va a ir bajando, ¿no?
Putting himself together almost a 20 CS advantage, returning that favor from that previous game. And Casting just trying to do his best to cling on to relevance here in this game, as many of our Renekton's do. I'm looking for an angle, but I don't know whether he is going to be enough to help gank this guy.
Yeah, I do not think they have the damage at all. So
Kitty está grabando documental, tío. Qué locura, tío. Qué pesado, tío. No puedo más. Todos graban documentales, ¿no? Prácticamente. Creo que más o menos va así, ¿no? A ver, es un pique emocional, tío. En los quintos mapas, si no hay un pique emocional al menos, no se siente un quinto mapa, ¿no? Mirad el otro día la Nidalee emocional. Que esa hay que decir que salió bien, ¿no? Ni tan mal, la verdad.
That's when this game really starts to go by the wayside. That's why we start to get Wolf certification out.
Yeah, I think it kind of depends though, because obviously they're not an ideal spot, but if you just explode the Zeri, even if KT get a lead, if you just explode Zeri, I feel like the KT comp might flounder.
They may not have very much to do. Now Gio is just going to skate on over towards Roma. Bear goes down. There's the exhaust though, and goodbye Annie. Wasn't a whole lot they could do about that one.
Great read of the play. You know, having cleanse as well means Roma just can't really do anything in that situation to shut down Jiwoo. And a third kill for the Zeri is really twisting the knife right now.
Oh, that was a bit cute.
Se ha dado la vuelta para por si le ponía el pilar, tú. ¡Ay, Kuz malo con avaricia! ¡Ay, Kuz malo con avaricia, chicos! ¡Ay, Kuz malo con avaricia, Le ha hecho todo el lío ahí, Pero todo el lío.
And the Chemtech Soul, we've talked about how it'd be great with the bulky champions, but also Zeri's kind of going to become effectively a bulky champion when you have like all the shielding and healing from the Yuumi. It's going to take a while to cut through any extra resistance is going to make things really awkward.
One thing I do want to note though is the Rift. We have Mega Cone Nico on the Rift, and it's piloted by Namgung as well. As we check out this replay, for some reason, of Roma just getting brutalized. That was a tough one to watch. Now the Drake is going to spawn.
Okay, notably no exhaust from Effort, which I know Gideon and Teddy feel pretty good about. No cleanse from Jiwoo as well. Splash of Veil to Roma. I think whoever it is, whether it's Roma, whether it's Namgun, you need to find Jiwoo and stun him. Well, Casting can also do that. But I think the mid tower being up, even though it's low, makes it a little awkward. You can't find a route in behind so easily.
Right now, they haven't found any damage onto Teddy. That is good news for the bros. Gio as well, very healthy though. And Cuz, control of the river with a bit of a battle between BDD and Casting down here towards his bottom side. If Casting can keep the Galio busy, can be a little bit problematic here. As Teddy's doing his very best to soften up Perfect, does get a solo target.
Mira cómo está jugando Jiwoo, Se la pela todo, tío. Míralo. Está jugando al puto límite, tío. Pasadísimo, ¿Es esto, Leos? Muy duro, Leos, es muy real eso,
Shurikens come down, the extender beam comes in.
Casting, look him go.
Yeah, stacking up all of that rage.
Vale.
Try and find an angle.
Cuidado con el combo. ¡Ay, ay, 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 ay! ¡Se ha muerto! ¡Ya no hay Zeri! Kuz malo con avaricia flashea y se muere. ¡Brosazo gordo! ¡Brosazo gordo! Justo en el siguiente back, es verdad que estaba en 3 ítems, Ha estado muy cerca de los 3 ítems y justo la palma, Increíble, pero cierto, chicos.
Yeah, this is a really difficult Baron. They are doing a lot of damage to it, but they are just going to back away.
And such a heavy cost because now they have to back off and the dragon can be taken.
Well, the bear comes down. Can they actually get a pick? They can! They baited BDD, who now flashes the wrong direction. Now I'm going looking for an angle. Gideon can get over that wall if he does get a shadow back.
There's no CC. You can just try TP now. There's no one in range. But he actually just walks it off.
Oh, wait. They're just going to get soul point anyway.
Yeah, that's sort of... They left the dragon. They should have just taken the dragon. They didn't respect the Huni Baron, and they end up paying for it.
Oh, dear. Well, at least they showed you that he could bleed, or something like that. As we're going to have a look at this one from Namgung once again.
No como grita,
Do you think he wanted to kill Zeri?
I get the vibe.
Yeah.
A great setup. Great team fight, and yet you don't get the dragon. I think that must feel rough for Bro in this situation. And you know what feels even worse is the fact that Jiwoo didn't flash. Like, obviously, him getting the flash would make the fight a bit more difficult, but the fact he has both summoners coming off the back of that and they got the dragon anyway, not the best position to be in for Bro.
Yeah, it feels like you're kind of back to square one, but they now have a bit more money, right? They have the gold lead moving into this. And yes, Soul Point is going to make the macro game a lot more difficult for the Bros. But staying in parity as far as the money is concerned is going to be very interesting because the advantage that the Bros have is damage. And so you need money to fund that.
They know they can kill Jiwoo if they connect, if they get everything onto him. So important for them to just keep doing that.
Yep.
It's a simple approach in what you need to do against this KT composition.
Effort has done more damage than Jiwoo. That's pretty cute. These prowling projectiles have been finding the mark. As the longest queue of all time does find BDD. After that Justice Punch away. Okay.
HANJIN looking for perfect on the bot side, but I think he's just way too tanky, so...
I feel like these are the two champions that should not be trying to kill perfect on the bot side as well.
Yeah, I don't think Annie would fare better either, or Nico.
Yeah.
Maybe just don't try killing him. I think you need Teddy there. Teddy does have a lot of DPS now with the Kraken Slay against Zeus Terminus. He does shred. He can cut through some
Qué barbaridad,
tankier targets if they overstep. But again,
lo de la Serafín, tío, los cromas. Siempre hay cromas exclusivos en China, tío. Yo creo que además en China les gusta. El hecho de que sea exclusivo hace que sea más probable que los compren, ¿no? Así que, not bad.
That can often just tick the box you need.
And we know that Teddy is so good at late game Kaiser as well.
Ahora no son splash diferentes, son splash para cromas, básicamente, los que hay.
But it felt easier to say late game Kaiser. But this champion he has had just incredible plays on, and more recently in his career as well. Felt like last year this was one of his sort of ace picks that he had.
Oh wow.
Okay, we're going for it again. The Infinity Edge is completed.
And the Mikhails.
Oh dear.
That's a lot of power. And the mandate for the Gallia? Okay, KT are spiking pretty hard right now.
Yeah, that is quite a spiky KT. 2 minutes on the Drake as well. I mean, there is still that Baron up and available. As casting does hit level 16. Perfect will get stunned up here. That was a cute little trade, but not too much more going to come of it. As Jiu just going to send the message that he is a lot more scary now.
I get the message.
Yeah, me too.
I wonder if Bro get the message.
I think they've pressed tab by now. As the Jack Shows comes in for perfect. So, yeah. Spiking.
Yeah.
Even the Spirit Visage is kind of big one for Cuz.
Yep. A lot of big spikes coming in. Minute 40 until that dragon. And Bro aren't really close to getting over the hump for any of their items.
Okay.
But they have 2 items completed for most champions, 3 for Teddy. It just feels like those spikes for KT are already significant. You can see KT heavily prioritizing the Skull Crab around where that dragon will spawn. Yeah, and this fight feels like this entire series might just hinge on it. Soul potentially for KT, but a one fight for either side likely going to lead to that Baron if they take down enough members of the opposite team.
That's the thing. See whether they can risk the Huni Baron once again. It was the demise of Bro, felt like, in that last exchange. That's why they're staring down the barrel of Soul Point. But that gold lead has remained the same, only increased a little bit here for the Bros. I think there is still another opportunity, but it will take a team fight. And if we go all the way back to the very beginning of this series, that was KT's bread and butter. That was how they were able to win game 1. all those hours ago. And
I
now
would say-
with Jiu this strong, there's a chance they can just do it again.
I will say, Bro had that successful game too on the back of a straightforward composition. And I think their task, their goal is straightforward. Straightforward doesn't always mean easy.
Yeah.
And Jiu has a lot of assistance from his team to help keep him alive. You saw before when he dashed over the wall, and the Galio ult was like immediate to kind of give him that shield, give him that protection. 15 seconds on the Dragon. Is KT have control of the area? Zed not the best at kind of walking in and face checking. Even though he has the shadow for safety, you don't want to get caught out. So KT are the ones
Okay.
the area on lockdown.
Yep, I do like Teddy, like actually throwing a lot of these Void Seekers at Cuz and actually finding his mark, understanding where they are. The Drake has now spawned. You've got a Crocodile lying in wait in the river, natural
Oh, he's been
habitat.
spotted.
And he does get spotted here by BDD. All right, Perfect also spotted out of position.
I'm going to still chunked at this point, thanks to a bit of damage from Jiwoo.
Oh, okay. In they go looking for a bit of an angle here. It's Perfect taking a lot of damage here from Teddy. Shape Splitter does come out. There's a flash
¿Cómo?
in from Namgung. They kill
No me lo puedo creer. ¡Se viene brosazo! ¡Encima te va a reventar! ¡El Fed! ¡Oh! ¡Brosazo gordo, chicos! Brosazo gordo.
Round 2 with the Hoonie Baron.
Brosazo
Let's see if
gordo.
they can do it. Health bars are low, but they do have a good amount of damage. Shielding. Oh, dodge away from that.
Yep.
Get hit by that. That's not good. Oh, the Tibbers tank.
Tibbers tank. There you go. You love to see it. All right, now with casting there, they should be able to take this.
Jiwoo just played this one so aggressive and just stepped forward and just challenged them. And Namgung was low, he died, he gets the knock up, and that's enough. And I just think this is not how you need to play this composition. Because
you have to be so careful. Deathmarks are trying to avoid some damage, but still BDD manages to take down the Zed. Remember, this is Seoul. They just lost their jungler. BDD is taking a lot, but there is Teddy. The all-out comes in, he flashes, but he's still going to go down. Now Namgung and Romer are here. I mean, there is some damage from this Annie, but I think this is still Chemtech Seoul. Yeah, I stand by what I said. Just take the dang dragon.
No tiene ningún tipo de sentido, tío. Una fight de mierda. Into, acabas haciéndote tú el dragón. Está muerto otra vez. Qué puta barbaridad. Ojo ahora, No tienen daño, creo, para matarlo, ¡No lo matan! ¡Yumiazo gordo! ¡Yumiazo gordo, tú! El efecto Yumi, Cómo te eutscalea tener un enchanter, Yumieados. No se lo quiere creer Digon, Los brositos a playoff. Los brositos a Worlds. Qué puta barbaridad lo que acaba de hacer BDD también,
Just a bit of a whoopsie.
Yeah, they just got baited by Huni. I think that's what we can say.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And then in the ensuing fight, they're like, you know what? We can kill Jiwoo again. But they don't have a plan for after they kill Jiwoo. And Perfect does a lot of work just creating disruption here, but then Cuz just starts munching. And I think people often disrespect, like one of the issues with Trundle is you become a pillar bot because you can't get in range without getting shredded late in the game. But with Teddy not there, no one has the damage to cut through him, and he can just keep chomping and doing a ton of DPS.
And so now, the Bros have extended their gold lead.
Okay, let's quickly take a look at the top left of the screen. And we want to analyze, we're going to do this as a team effort.
Okay.
Max, okay, we're analyzing.
A team effort, that's KT.
It worth taking the Baron over the Dragon? So I want you to look at, it's called the Red Bull Baron power play.
Okay.
And
What does that dash mean at the beginning?
Yeah, I believe that's a negative number.
Oh.
So we're going to put that in the cons column. And KT get that cute little Chemtech symbol.
Qué locura, tío. A ver, estás a una fight realmente, ¿no? La cosa es que cazar a la Feri, bueno, parecía difícil, lo has hecho antes. Volver a cazarla ahora sigue siendo cuanto menos complicado. Y aunque muera la Feri, tío, es que la Yumi va a hacer que sean inmortales, tío, el Casante y el Trundle.
Like,
More feels like a bit of, I'm gonna be honest, more feels like a weird buy, because a big thing with more is the shield when you're low. But most of the fights have been like Tibbers or Nico being dropped on you, and then the AD champions actually finish you off.
yeah,
so,
then you're just dead.
yeah, I'm not sure that it's the best buy. I think maybe like a GA could have been better, although maybe the thought process, if you die, are you going to survive afterwards? But you probably could, honestly, if the tanks cause enough disruption. Either way, the buy is the buy. And Q once again playing with confidence, but is it too much confidence? It's a delicate line, I feel like this game has been.
It is a very good point. Both of the 80 carries sitting on a lot of money right now.
I think the main thing is that we are approaching the Elder Dragon.
Oh.
And we knew it had to go to 5 games, but deep down we also knew it had to be decided this way. It had to be the Elder.
And so it's kind of like how our predictions went. Flipping a coin, but what the teams are going to do is they're going to flip a Baron. And,
They're going to
flip an Elder.
And they're going to blow on the coin in the air to try and put it in towards their favor, which is technically cheating. They wouldn't allow you to do that, but we're going to let them off this time because this has been such a captivating series.
Indeed. And then they're going to fight a
Tienen
dragon.
que poner un con alma, a ver.
Yes.
Got it.
Azócar, lo veo complicado, sinceramente.
Still in the air and they're blowing on it.
Man, I knew that they were multi-talented, but I didn't know it quite went that far.
Yeah.
Debería ganar Katie.
Right. Perfect is very dangerous.
Mira cómo va la Ceri. La cosa es que no se le vaya la pinza y se muera random, tío.
Well,
Si no se le va la pinza y muere random, lo tienen hecho, ¿eh?
No,
you know how you take that one crit rune? And you know what they used to say? Better players crit more. This is all Teddy needs.
just if he crits on every single
If you
auto
believe
attack,
in yourself.
it's super high DPS.
Absolutely. Just believe in the optimal outcome.
Yeah.
And it will happen.
Some decisions here when it comes to itemization, but we'll see how the play goes.
Yeah, I think he probably saw all of the MR items and was like, can I have the thing with big AD?
Maybe just saw that he had enough money for IE. Was like, you know what? Yeah,
Sure.
why not?
Well, he can build some shoes now as well. We'll see what he's actually going to purchase in that area. As they have increased their gold lead. But ladies and gentlemen, a gold lead of 3,000 at 33 minutes and 33 seconds. Oh, that's pretty cool. We managed to hit that big number when it was the same amount of gold in advantage, like the 3.
Okay.
That's fine.
We have the Knight's
This
Vow.
doesn't matter, is what I meant.
It does not. Knight's Vow for Trundle, which presumably is on the is on the Zeri. No surprise. Seeker's Arm Guard for BDD. We have the Echoes of Helia just came in for effort. And then actually a Frozen Heart for Namgoon. So some item completions coming through, but some are midway. Like Casting has just the BF Sword, Gideon has just the Samira item that I forget the name.
Who, what, has what?
Gideon has the little stopwatch thing.
Oh, yeah. The GA on the way to item.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what it's called.
Yeah. Or it's a something pocket watch, I'm pretty sure.
The Death Stance component.
Yeah.
Yeah. 13 seconds. Q is the main character. Can they take him out? That's the question.
La que les puede caer va a ser legendaria,
3 times in a row.
Lo tenían hecho los brositos. Y ahora hay un poquito de momento Aram, aparecen los objetivos neutrales y alguien la cagará, ¿no? Alguien fijo que la acaba cagando. Es que los echan simplemente clicando y andando, ¿eh?
Casting on a flank angle. Gideon also looking for a flank angle. That leaves no one in this mid lane, really, that can stop this push from KT. They do take the red buff. It's going to be secured. Teddy does manage to get it. It's now perfect. Gonna get closed in and actually takes a lot of damage here as Gideon moves over. That's what the bros have. They have damage.
Okay, good chunk, but Perfect heals a lot from that honey food. There's another one up there. Go grab it, Perfect.
Okay, but they put in so much good work. It's just all for naught.
So Spain gonna come in, a lot of healing. They both have a Spirit Visage, which and the Chemtech Dragons just helps out with that. Now they're looking for a pillar and a Namgoon. This is so tense.
All right,
Casting on the
who's
flank.
going to start this fight? This Casting does get seen by this control ward. Gideon trying to throw poke damage over, but poke just feels so unreliable. With KT just healing up so much in the interim as Teddy sidesteps the Winds of War, stepping forward. A brief moment of impatience can be so dangerous.
By the way, he is very strong.
All right, Casting getting ran at here by Cuz. just starts hitting him with a bat. This is so intense. This is game 5. The winner of this goes to playoffs. And Nongdog is gonna make the play.
No me lo puedo creer, Cazan a Yibu. ¡Lo cazan! ¡Ay, que sobrevive! Es que no lo pueden matar, chicos. Es inmatable. Es inmatable. Ya va full vida otra vez. GG's. Es que ya no hay daño. Llega un momento en el que no hay daño, chicos. Es que ya no hay daño, Es que ya no hay daño,
TP coming in from Roma. Both top laners dead. A lot of cooldowns burned. The Elder still healthy.
Mega cone. A possible angle here as a shape splitter.
Qué barbaridad.
On through, gives so much information. I feel late game, the Nico is so valuable just for that button.
The pop blossom's ticking really quickly.
Yeah.
It's not long till that's going to be up and available. And Jiu has nothing left.
Wait a second. Well, they're on the Elder Dragon now. Cuz is going to move on over. And Teddy, as soon as he gets here, he does so much DPS. Gideon in the back of this pit. The Elder does not do that much damage. Okay, Mega Cone angle. Mega Cone angle. They could get a Renekton in there on top of that as well. Roma, don't press it just yet. Okay, KT just trying to keep them at bay. Who gets the Elder and do they even look for the fight as Roma just gets...
Lo van a intentar, cuidado con el posible 50-50 ojo con Gideon, muy tocado el dragón, se lo van a llevar a Diojigu. ¡Brosafo gordo! No me lo puedo creer. Cuando ya parecía imposible. Ancianizados. Tío, ¿cómo te cazan? ¿Cuántas veces les han cazado, tío? Cuando lo único que... Tienes un Galio, tienes un Trundle, lo único que tienes que hacer es estar bien posicionado. Y yo que me alegro por los brositos, Los brositos, señoras y señores. Equipo de playoffs. Y con opciones de ser top 4 y ir a Wolves. Todavía no acaban, Todavía no acaban, señores. Todavía no acaban. Increíble.
So a lot of time is bought here by Roma and casting, but Gideon is just laser focused on the dragon with Teddy helping to secure it, and as soon as they get it, the dive in comes through, the Zeri is deleted, the Yuumi follows, and Perfect is so tanky, it almost looks like he'll be able to shake this off until the burn just takes him down.
I think so. He was like ready to leave. He's like, it's time to go, right, Juke, right? No, not yet.
And now a minute.
Poca Nico se juega, hombre, estabas en quinto mapa. No hay tanto para elegir ya.
Well, he's gotten more crit now.
All right, it's like a 50-50 at this point.
Normally you get the crit then the Infinity Edge, but he's just working it backwards.
Yeah.
The Runans into this team comp though does go kind of crazy.
I reckon he's probably going to be able to find some value. But he also has a GA that he hasn't need to put into use just yet.
Yeah.
As Baron has been taken, the Elder still there for 30 seconds.
We have GA from Gideon and we're pretty close for casting, but right now the Baron push. 30 seconds on the Elder. They cannot contest them, even with the tower to back them up, and they know that they back off. 2 inhibitors is going to be the cost that they have to pay. Can they do more? 15 seconds.
You have to look at this from KT's perspective. Possible devastation here with a loss in game 5 after they had a lead at the beginning of this one. Jiu's still alive. Does have a GA himself. Can they find an avenue in? Can they find the engage? And there is the Elder. So KT, look for an opportunity. BDD with the Justice Punch is just going to go backwards.
Look at Jiu taking this safe route towards the fountain. Really cautious about being up front. They know he is the primary target.
The Bros now, I mean, they still do have this Baron for another minute and a half.
Yeah.
But one Nexus turret. Teddy will be able to basically 3-hit the Nexus if they do get anywhere near it. As BDD going for a potential angle, but they are so nifty. They just get out of the way. BDD goes golden, possibly going to get separated as he flashes away, taken down to 50%. And every time Teddy presses Q, I'm terrified for someone's life. As Jiu going to get tagged by that Void Seeker. Perfect, look at that. I mean, he's a tank. Doesn't find the Q there. Supercharger just enough here to get Teddy out of the way as he avoids the prowling projectile there as well, but KT are still holding on. The Bros just, I think they're feeling a little bit scared of making this last play. Let's see, there it is, Nongung's never scared. Teddy gets that ultimate off, but Ju just slides over the Nexus. Now it's KT's turn to try and find an angle, but BDD just gets...
Hostia la serie, hostia la serie. ¡Hostia! No creo, ¿no? Patazo gordo otra vez. Lo que tiene que no se muera cazado el Jigu este. Ay, ¿qué coño es esta serie, tío? Tío, imaginad esto. Que se jugase... Que se jugase mucho más tarde. O sea, en plan, que esto fuese una serie para Wolves o así, ¿eh? Qué jodida idea de olla, ¿eh? No, la semi y la final... Solo la final es en el road trip, don Eladio. Only the final es en el road trip, ¿eh? Claro, pero imagínate que el que gana esto va a Wolves, ¿sabes? Que si es dentro de una semana y pico, creo que este tipo... O sea, ya son ese tipo de series. ¿Cómo funciona la vaina esta? No me la puedo creer, Leos. ¿Vuelven a ser amigos?
I thought Bro had it. I was ready just to be like, they got the Elder, they won the fight, the game is over, and then the base defense from KT, but then the game is still going. We're getting some adjustments in items. The LDR has been picked up by Teddy. The GA was on cooldown. He's considering, does he want it, does he not want it? He's gone a shield bow. 100% crit has been achieved. We break backwards, but we got
Nivel 17. Es que vosotros sabéis, o sea, pocas veces se puede llegar a ver una Yumi que tiene la ulti al 3 con tantos ítems, chicos. O sea, es que literalmente... de los mejores campeones del juego ahora mismo. Yumi subiendo al 16 con tanto oro. Es una locura, ¿eh? No tiene ningún sentido esto, ¿eh? ¡Qué barbaridad! ¡Qué locura! Y si no, hace daño, pega, o sea, cura, escudos, tiene todo. De los mejores campeones del juego, es que es muy difícil. O sea, está jugando muy mal Katie las fights. Diego lo han cagado 57 veces, pero es que está tan rota la Yumi ya. Es casi imposible perder con esto. O sea, ha habido varias veces de las que le han cazado que incluso no se ha muerto, tío. Es que ¿cómo la matas ahora? ¿Qué tiene que pasar? Stun del Renekton, el cual, por cierto, te limpian. No sé, es muy difícil, tío. No, el casante lo baja a la Kaisa con mirarlo, no os equivoquéis, ¿eh? El problema no es el casante. 50-50 en el anciano. Ojo con Gideon. Porque da igual que tenga una Yumi, tío. Si matan a la Ceri, lo acaban matando. Sí, sí, muy emocional el pick de la Ceri. Mira lo que le hacen al casante, tío. En un segundo. Que es que da igual. Si el problema es la Ceri. Vamos a ver, lo intenta Romer buscando el flanco. Cuidado, 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 cuidado. Acaban de matar a la Kaisa Ziggy, chicos. No hay Kaisa. Se acabó. ¡Joder! Puta Yumi, tío. ¿Qué ha hecho Teddy, loco? Vaya drogada, señores. Pues GG, catazo gordo, ¿eh? Casi tropiezo de Katie, ¿eh? Les ha costado, ¿eh? Ahí lo tienes. Casi tropiezo, ¿eh? Casi tropiezo. Qué barbaridad, ¿eh? De las series más locas que hemos visto en mucho tiempo, ¿eh? Vamos a por el tuitillo. En 5 mapas. Ya estaría, ¿eh? Qué ida de olla, ¿eh?